Hey guys, welcome to the close. Couple hours left on a Tuesday afternoon. Hope your day is going well. It is a sea of green right across the entire board this afternoon. Very positive afternoon led by some of the big name tech stocks. We'll talk a little bit about Tesla, obviously coming up tomorrow for earnings, but more headlines Twitter related. I mean, Twitter not really doing much, but anyways, let's have a look at where we stand at this point this afternoon. As I mentioned, tech stocks leading the way there, 1.75 for the NASDAQ, 1.2, 1.3%. Nice bounce back day for all three U.S. equity markets. TSX here in Toronto up 0.4. Brazil lower on the day. This was about 5.25%, a couple minutes ago or so. So a bit of a bounce for crude oil with half an hour left in the pit session for crude. Bitcoin and Ethereum also very positive. There is a very green board right across the entire thing. It's actually the consumer discretionary group that's leading right now. Retail stocks are strong. Some of the travel names having a nice bounce back day as well. There's a few news headlines mask related in the U.S. that has a lot of these in positive territory, including on Disney. I just saw Disney going optional on masks at all of their parks. NCLH, CCL, Wynn, all here. Caesars down there, LVS, we mentioned early on this morning. There's Penn as well, 6.5% for Penn today. Transportation stocks having a nice day. All the airlines in that group as well. Some of the automakers in positive territory. Very few things of note as far as negativity. X-ray was earnings. There's Pfizer, there's Moderna, there's AbbVie, all to the downside. Everything else, though, pretty positive right across the entire board. CF and NEM there. Some of the resource stocks having a bit of a negative afternoon as well. The way we ended the day, though, yesterday, it was a bit of an opposite story today. Everything back to the upside. As I said, I hope your afternoon is going well. We're going to jump into what was available as far as opportunity this morning. If you joined us right out of the gate, come join us every day at 8:30. We get you ready for the open at 9:30. Make sure you have a plan going into the open. So key on a day specifically like today, where we saw right out of the gate nothing but strength. And the market just went straight to the upside. Sean's going to lead the way here with a look at one of his trades from this morning.
Hey guys, yeah, we're back and it's your trade of the day. And today it's going to be an exciting one for multiple reasons. One, we're still in part of this trade. And Fahad just asked me, we're still in about 15% of this one. And it's going to be Facebook and it's about a $7 winner. But that's not, what happens today is already finished with. But let's talk about some of the preparation. If you're just watching this for the first time, make sure you subscribe to watchlist.tradertv.live and find me on Twitter at TraderTVSean, where every day I'll post up a little something like this. Some ideas work. AMD felt like a reversal. AMD's huge today. But here's the Facebook. We really like the long. We just needed to get above 212 and stay there. Hopefully we can build some support. That's literally the notes. And why did we choose 212 as our long here? Well, it's not that much on the daily, but we did have 6 or 7 straight down days there for Facebook. And then we just were creeping above that 50 period. The 50 period on the daily chart was around 212. So we really like that level. When you're coming in here, this is the day so far, but back into here, 212 is this number. So if we bring this back, it's kind of like yesterday's high. We didn't quite get there, but we were looking to say, hey, if we took down yesterday's number, then hopefully we'd be able to continue the strength to the upside. We noted here, yesterday into the close, a nice rally, right? The market faded down. Then in the last couple minutes, a big rally back up on the imbalance number. So we're like, okay, we think there's going to be bids for Facebook today. Let's just make sure. All right, so we already have our plan. It's 212. But look at this. In the pre-market today, we actually noticed that this high coming right in here is about 211.50. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe we'll play with 211.50 if we wanted to get long. But off the open, the market tanked. We actually went down to 208.50, which is an unbelievable low. And again, that comes in, and if I would have noticed this, you can't see everything. And that's part of the problem. When you're data mining and you're looking at charts, you're like, oh, this, that, the other thing, it's easy to see that that was the bottom yesterday, right? But it respects it. Then as we start coming up, we take out VWAP, we take out the 50 period, and then I use this line right here. It's not the pre-market high, but it's kind of was where we got up to at between 9 and 9:30. The high in this area, besides that spike, was 211. So we definitely wanted to get 211 long. Unfortunately, it was like a starter position. I wish we put like a max position into here, because remember, even though we're hitting up there, it easily could have fallen back in. So we were uncertain sort of the direction here, but we know we wanted to get long, just not certain of when the right time was. But it breaks VWAP, it breaks the 50 period, and it breaks that pre-market high from 9 o'clock. So we're like, all right, let's go. And all of a sudden, honestly, this isn't the first minute. It goes up, we're in the money 40 cents. Boom, we take out a piece. This is part of scalping, unfortunately. Comes back up, we get out that's 211. First out, 211.50. Then we come up to 212. Then we have 212.50. Then we have 213.50. And now we're letting this thing go because we're saying, all right, now we've broken out. You're not going to see anything on the daily chart. There's not much to look at. We were just thinking, okay, let's just go back up to the upside. Let's watch this NASDAQ run. And then it just started taking it off. Like I was thinking about right into here on the show when this was already going. So remember, we're long right now, 211. Current price, 218. So right now, we were debating getting out right into here. When this was sort of going back and forth, we knew in there that we kind of wanted it to settle down. There wasn't much happening. We wanted to let this go. We were well away from the 50 period, but we retested it right there. That was a spot where we could have gotten out at 215, but we only had 15% of the position, so we're trying to push it in, hold it, see what happens. All of a sudden, boom to the upside, and now it's just pure chop. But if you take this trade again, look at this. On the 50 period break, this is a 1 minute chart, okay? On the 50 period, we never breached that the whole way up until we get up there to 217.50. So today, Facebook definitely trending. The market's going to the upside. We broke above the 50 period. I like Facebook for a long, and it seems like we're cashing in right now. It might drop back below. Right now, I think we can honor this 217. If we break back down below there, hey, let's just take the $6 and get out of there. But Facebook respected that move upside, and there's the winner for the day. It's your trade of the day.
Yeah, pretty impressive move to the upside along with the overall market. What a strong morning we had for the futures, trying to get back to day highs as we speak. We had so many opportunities this morning, including Facebook. There was a ton on the watch list as well, guys. That's the link for the free watch list we send out every single morning. Just saw this. DWAC popped up. It's maybe, anyways, a DWAC kind of afternoon. Yeah, you can see volume still coming into DWAC. That means CFVI also getting some love here this afternoon as well. So a heads up. I mean, not as big, but both positive. Some volume coming into CFVI and DWAC. Twitter, obviously on watch as well. More headlines coming out this afternoon regarding what Elon plans to do. Will Apollo Global be involved? Will they not be involved? Elon saying at least $15 billion coming out of his own pocket. So, I mean, we'll talk about Twitter here coming up. But there wasn't much as far as earnings, exciting earnings this morning to discuss. But we had J&J on the list this morning off of a decent report. I mean, their COVID forecast was a bit of a question mark. Back to the downside, they basically said there's too much vaccine in the world. So they thought that was going to be a bit of a problem. But regardless, J&J opens and goes straight to all-time highs this morning.
Yeah, quite the movement in the pre-market, because we were looking at this initially on the move down on 2,000 shares, I believe. That was the initial move down from 176 and change all the way down south of 172 into 171. So this move was about 2,000 shares or so, I believe, on a 5-minute chart. And then I was thinking, you know, we come back up. We could easily, I want to see what we've got. We could easily come right back down there, but it did look like it had a chance to go up, but not this much. This was absolutely nuts, 3% to the upside. This opened up the daily, though. You take a shot like this after opening that far down, you open north of 180, and then you go strong right through the highs from the 11th or so. 184 and change had to be the high point that we had to hold to get going to the upside. We couldn't hold it. We tried once on the initial push. We tried again around 11:30, around the European close, and then we just kind of drifted off. Now, if this can't hold, this opens the door for potential shorts tomorrow because it'll be a failed trade on the daily, right? So that's what I'm looking at. As long as we can hold somewhat in a sideways pattern, that's okay. But if we start losing ground and start going back towards those 180s, it becomes a problem because it opens up the daily for the short on a failed move above that high. I keep an eye on this. This might be the day we are getting this extreme movement, but the setups are going to happen, or the follow-through is going to happen in the next few days because this is definitely opening up the door for potential trades to the downside.
We need to find out almost immediately what happened with Twitter there, because Twitter just absolutely tanked on huge volume. So yeah, we've been shorting Twitter, longing Twitter, doing everything and actually making a mess of it. And here comes Twitter straight to the downside. So a monster move here, Brendan, for Twitter. Twitter just touched $45. So I mean, I'm going to guess that Elon Musk maybe has just stepped away from this, would be my guess right now. But I don't know. We just touched $45 there on Twitter from cruising at 48 all day. So this is always going to be the risk with this name. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe enough is enough. He did come out earlier, and we are going to talk about Twitter soon. It's just happening right now. So I see Brendan looking for this. But he came out and was talking about tendering something in 10 days. So he was going to give one final offer there in 10 days, give shareholders a chance, give me your shares or not, at whatever that price was going to be. I assume he didn't mention a new price, but right there, that just went to $45. Like, could have gone long and it'd be in the money huge now, but no idea what's going on. Twitter pulls back basically the whole way, all the way down. And the NASDAQ now falling as well. Joe Biden, I guess, came out sending more artillery to Ukraine. That can't be a good idea. And how about this, man? We were just cruising with AMD also there, Arun, and it just collapsed back down through 96. So no idea here. The market has definitely come back in. And yeah, disaster strikes right now that this market just makes a big move to the downside here. It's not huge, obviously. It's just that came out of nowhere there. AMD falling like a rock as well. Facebook did not break that 217, but very close. I'm going to give it to this, 216.90. So that's going to be my out there on Facebook. But I think we got to get longer on AMD. That fall was pretty epic right there.
Yeah, not seeing anything yet, guys, on Twitter. I'll keep an eye out, though. That Biden comment was a few minutes ago, but he also said, well, I mean, we mentioned the mask angle. So they lifted basically all mask restrictions on airplanes, on travel. Disney came out and said no more masks at their parks, or you can if you want, but it's not mandatory anymore. So some of the travel names were getting some attention on that. But yeah, that was a huge volume spike for Twitter, but not seeing the reason as of yet. But as far as the actual trade goes today for Twitter, we did talk about it in the morning. You know, and kind of threw the warning out there that there were going to be more headlines. There was going to be more headline risk surrounding this. And here we go. Yeah, still nothing yet, guys, on this. But huge move down. You can see, as Sean was mentioning, we do basically nothing all day. Yes, there was a few spikes on comments from Elon saying 15 billion of his own money potentially going into this.
Headline risk is the name of the game, and every time we talk about Twitter, that's what I keep referring to. Headline risk, don't want part of it. I'm not putting up the money. I looked in the chat, someone says, pray for anyone without stops. This is why you avoid this situation as a whole, right?
That's the reason.
Right, headline risk. This is what I don't like. You can never position into something like this because of what could easily come off through the wires and send this thing cratering. So for me, headline risk, do I care? Absolutely not about what Twitter does right now. Until we settle this whole thing, I don't want to play Twitter. Twitter could be a good trade if you can set up levels and work with them. But when you have to, you know, when there's a cloud hanging there with headline risk, that's just constantly there. Until that moves away, you got to just walk away. And if you're willing to be brave, let's just put it that way. If you're willing to be brave and take some shots, then this is for you. For me, I'm not that brave when it comes to something like this. So I'm going to stay away from Twitter.
I'm brave, but yeah, I don't know about that brave. Like you just mentioned, I'm actually trying to get longer into Facebook because I'm just wondering about that move down right now. We did average into, okay, where did we buy this at? We just bought this at 73. This is AMD, by the way, and 83. Back rate up to 93 right now. So we'll take a little bit out if we can get that 93 print. We are long 76 now on AMD, so let's see if that continues to work back up to the upside. Maybe that market dip was on Biden talking about more artillery to Ukraine. That could be seen as a negative sign, obviously, if they need to send more. Maybe that's due to a request or who knows. I'm just trying to like put the pieces together here. But if AMD does fail, man, and I know we're on Twitter still, but I just want to give everyone an update. We're going to respect that bottom wick right there. We were short AMD, able to make some money. We got taken out right there. Then we hit the long and just cleaned up. Like we were cruising on that long, man. Like we were just doing the trade of the day and AMD was all the way up here. And then we got a stop in and then the stop came right there. And one of the viewers there very promptly pointed out, you're dead without stops. And I feel like you're dead without stops on a lot of these names here. The NASDAQ is a wild, wild animal right now. And if you're trading anything in this space, get your stops out and get ready to rock and roll. This market could turn to the downside. But yeah, Twitter, until something comes out of Brendan's mouth, honestly, I don't have any idea what that was about. I feel like someone just I don't know, I don't want to say paper hands, but fat fingered it maybe, like a mistake just hit there. Everybody thought, oh my God, what happened? It just sent it reeling down. Like, how is there I'm amazed right now, to be honest with you.
There's something out. It probably just hasn't hit the wires.
We don't have this yet. That's
Who's to say this isn't Elon Musk dumping shares? We don't know this.
Yeah.
No one knows any of this until it actually hits the wires and we figure it out. Let's just wait on that.
Maybe that was him saying enough.
I'm just saying, these are all theoretical situations. It doesn't necessarily have to be off of news. When you say fat finger, it could just be like Elon Musk hitting a sell button on some of his shares.
He meant to hit a buy and he sold 9 million.
Who knows, right? We'll figure it out because this will come out. Although there's nothing right now, there will be something out about this later on when everything is settled. So until then, we just kind of go with the flow and see what the market brings us.
Imagine that keystroke error. But okay, what's up, Brandon?
All right, a couple other things of note. SBFM just halted to the upside here on a big move. $3 up to 370. It's up 6%. Just having a look at that. There was an FDA note on this one as well. Natera. So a lot of traders online circulating an FDA, looks like a negative note, 39 down to 36. Almost halted there on the way to the downside, but did not. So NTRA and then the other one again, SBFM, currently halted. Let's talk about travel stocks because, wow, they've been leading essentially as far as the market's concerned all day long. You can have a look at some of the casinos. LVS up 4.5% today. All of the airlines up 3 to 4% today. So it's been a decent day for even the cruise lines ahead of earnings.
Yeah, I've just been enamored with everything else other than this. But right now, travel strength. Okay, look, CCL's had that 20 peg to it for a while. We broke up today up to 20.08. You're still up that nice 4 or 5%. Obviously fading back in now as the NASDAQ and the ES both starting to come in. Although the ES still up that 1.1, NASDAQ still up that 1.5. Yeah, look, as more and more things reopen. I mean, I really feel like there's a huge pent-up demand. There goes Facebook, by the way. It did what? How did we get out of Facebook right there? What just triggered there for me? Oh, that's a bad. Was that a bad trigger? I don't know. No, we got out there. So we took another piece and then we just got out. But I think we want to get back into Facebook in case that was a mistake. But we'll watch out for that. Anyways, CCL. Just take that first. Do you have anything on CCL? No, you're still on Twitter. Okay, because I was thinking about maybe getting back into this Facebook off that. I don't know really what happened there. The market is starting to come back in, so maybe we will leave Facebook alone. I feel like we got out there. We didn't really mean to, but 216.80. Yeah, we should probably go long again on Facebook. Let's try one more time. We're going to punch long there on Facebook and then get our orders all sorted out for that in a minute. But okay, yeah, so CCL. Let's talk about CCL. So now we're back long Facebook, and hopefully it goes back to the upside. You'll be able to take some cash on that. But the last couple days here, CCL, nice move upside, comes back in. The last 20 minutes, good for the 20-minute chart. You're seeing some tops there at 1990 or so, but another strong name. I'm going to have to look at Jets and all that after, but right now I'm just going to go back and manage this, honestly, this Facebook position, unless you have something to say, because...
Yeah, go for it.
Whatever this is.
Yeah. So FBFM, before I continue on with travel names, SBFM, people were asking the opening price, 376 off the open. Obviously, you can see it now, but the tap was showing 377-ish until we opened, and looks like SBFM could be taking a look at that 4 even. That's looking a little, it'll be interesting to see how we take 4 even if we get to 4 even, because that's quite the move already just from the open, because that's 24 cents if we get through 4 even, and we're sitting right there. So nice little move there. For anyone who's wondering or watching this thing, absolutely going nuts. There goes 4 even, guys, as we now are 30 cents after coming off the halt open on SBFM. Now back to travel names. Every time we talk travel names, you can talk airlines, you can talk cruise lines, you can talk all these other names, but I go always directly to Boeing. It's just my whole thing with when it comes to travel. Although it may not be, directly related to pickup, and this may, it may take some time for orders to filter through, airline orders to filter through. and for Boeing to show its strength. But at the same time, I just have this thing about going to Boeing anytime we talk travel. And Boeing has been on fire. Yes, the market's been on fire, but Boeing, tremendous strength to the upside. Found a nice little base around that 175 in the last few days. Now we're finally getting some upside movement, clearing that high, that 185 high from the 14th. Now we're sitting on top. This opens the door for a nice trade on the extension. Hold on, what is this? Boeing on the daily. Let's go. There we go. Boeing on the daily. This opens the door. Now we're cleared north of this. We're cleared north of this whole area. Now you could have a decent support base right through here on Boeing. So coming into tomorrow, what I want to see on Boeing, although today's trade, like most stocks, are too extended at this point, it's going to be hard to catch something. Boeing, if we can come back into that 185 and actually find some strength tomorrow, I think we have a chance to actually pick up some longs tomorrow and see if we can work a trade to the upside on Boeing in the event. It has to be done tomorrow because, like I said, it's a little extended. Market's been taking a break, but it's been a heavy move to the upside. So here we are waiting for this to pick up. As I look quickly over there, SBFM now at 413, a high of 425 it seems. So definitely still running. Hasn't really slowed down much since the open. Definitely still running, so definitely keep an eye on that one. See if it's got any more strength left and continue. Hey, wishful thinking, maybe $5 is in play. So we'll see how this one plays out. But for now, north of 4 even on SBFM. Brendan.
Looks like a COVID/cancer treatment trial came back better than expected for Sunshine. SBFM is Sunshine Biopharma. So heads up on that. Some positive data out for them. Let's move on. Plug was on watch this morning. Decent deal for Plug with Walmart, teaming up with Walmart on a hydrogen deal for these lift trucks, handling of lift trucks and hydrogen fuel. So, I mean, it's obviously huge news in the sense that it's a big deal with Walmart being arguably the biggest retailer across North America. So what does this mean for Plug? We did get a bit of a fade initially, back down to basically where it was the prior couple of days, but nice bounce, guys. It's 223. We're up 9% today for Plug.
Been on fire, and I know Sean's been training this early. Sean hates Plug, for anyone who did not hear that. So he'll talk about more why he hates Plug when he gets to it. But Plug was one of those trades where it took off through 28 earlier. I'm like, okay, great. Now that you've cleared the north of 28, if you can find some stability around that 26.5, there's a chance we get a bounce back above 28. That gets you a long. If you fail through the 26.5, then you got to look for the 25 for a potential short. That was the options, right? That was the only things I was going to do in the event that we actually had held strong above 28. There could be a long there, or we broke 25, go for the short there. It all depended on how 26.5 was going to hold. It looks like it held out pretty well. Nice bounce back towards 28. Now we're dipping in. We were dipping in into those mid 50s there at 27.50 and change, or 60 and change. Now we're backing back towards that 28 high. Again, if you can hold strong north of 28, we saw two checks. We saw a secondary. Obviously we saw a primary move, and then we saw a secondary move back above 28, and then now we're coming back a little bit. Get some stability. Just find some stability north of 28. I mean, last time we tried to get above these pre-market highs, which were 28.24, we put in a high at 28.29 and then fell off. Find some stability. That's not enough strength. That just shows me that there's more sell-side activity just above the high. I want to see some expansion. Once you get that expansion, you have that ability now to go long north of 28 with the 26 even stop. That's on the table, preferably 25, but at the same time, the risk profile could be a little bit larger on this trade depending entirely on where you can price it. But for the time being, I think Plug has a chance, but again, it needs to clear those highs. That 28.30 high, it needs to take that out and continue to the upside. So maybe not today, but definitely working a trade in the event this happens tomorrow.
All right, so yeah, great cover there, and I wish that we would have been able to hold Plug power, but unfortunately, it is what it is, and this was really the mistake right there, and it happened so early, man. This happened at 8:30. when we took this level out, and there was good shares. I was pretty confident in that 28 level. You can see 28's been a really good level to hold anyways. And we took that, and then we just got wrapped up way too much. And the market opened up, man. Plug just came right back in. And then unfortunately, we were playing off the bottom. Like, it was coming in, and I was going to use 26.50 as the out. It kept bouncing, 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 eventually breaks, and there's my out. And then as soon as I got out, look at this. It almost immediately went right back up to 27. It was okay. We had already taken hits in this trade, but it's just like that last little bit that we had there. We could have held it and pretty much made everything back that we lost on this name. So, you know, what I learned on this trade really, and if we're going to talk about lessons learned here, which I think is important that we always do, and that is just too many shares in the pre-market, too committed to a position, and then when it fell down, I wasn't able to sort of get back where I needed to go on this name. So unfortunately, Plug was the #1 name on the sticky note. And all it said was that we liked the long and that it was a good deal from Walmart and that we were looking at 28. The problem is, came a little too fast there, like at 8:30, literally an hour before the market opened. Then when the market opened, I assumed this was a lot of profit taking. And then when that was over with, it just came to the upside. A lot of sell side pressure off the open. So Plug Power, not a friend of mine today, but good name, good mover. I think we'll be on this again. So congratulations, anybody in this name. I think it's a big deal for them with Walmart, and that's what trading's all about, man. If you're going to scalp, I mean, you've had some examples of that as well. Even if you're going to hold a long position, sometimes it goes down to your spot, and then bang, you're out at a level that you pick, and it just happens to be the bottom. So yeah, that is what it is today on Plug Power for me.
Just a heads up on Twitter, guys. Elon tweeting some stuff right now. You can go to his Twitter feed and read if you want. It's nothing about the deal, but just regarding social media platforms and political stance a little bit. I just saw this, which was kind of interesting. Roku, yeah, 8.25% today for Roku. They got a buy rating this morning, in fact, from Rosenblatt, ahead of Netflix. We'll get Netflix after the close tonight, but Roku having a noteworthy day here, trying to hold above some pretty key levels here. But the other big one, obviously on everyone's mind, going to be Tesla. Shanghai reopens today. Production started officially. They'll ramp it up again. It's nowhere near what it was going back a month or so ago, but they said they're going to start to slowly ramp things back up after a COVID shutdown for 3 weeks. Tesla earnings tomorrow. There's also the Twitter side of things here, but Tesla having a nice day, guys, up more than 1%.
Yeah, Roku, you don't say, up 8%. Okay, I've got Roku. Remember, if you guys were watching the morning show, we were working that 112 long. We're like, it's just got to catch up to the market. Well, even though it was at 4% and the market was only at 1 point something, it was just very slow. And then it got going, and here we are sitting in a $5 winner. I've cashed some out already earlier around that 117. We're just holding the rest, managing the rest of it, and see if we can get an expansion north of 118, right? Pretty much at the target level we wanted to for the first portion of this. So Roku doing extremely well. Tesla, remember, Tesla is one of those things where I said, full disclosure, I don't trade Tesla for the price reason, right? If they split, sure. But at $1,000, I'm not touching Tesla. It's just volatility aspect and risk profiles that I just can't figure out for these expensive names, so I don't trade it. But at the same time, you can make some inferences on what could happen here. Get north of we marked off 2 levels. The bottom end was going to be that 970 area. That was the bottom for the last few days here, starting on the 11th of April. We put in a few bottoms around that 970, and then the highs, it seemed to be around 1020, 1030-ish, somewhere in there. And if we got an expansion out of either end, preferably after earnings, you have a chance to run. Highly unlikely that Tesla was going to stay in this range for today and then another full day. So highly unlikely that we're going to do it like that. So what you got to now look at is what happens in the event that we break out of these ranges before these earnings come out. Because you know if it's positive, it's going right back towards these 1200s. It's happening. It's only $180 away. You get a couple days worth of trickle action to the upside. That only puts it at maybe $160, $150 away. Not that hard to do if Tesla has blowout earnings. So here we are waiting on Tesla, but to the upside, it's pretty obvious where it wants to go. To the downside, I think is the trickier part, because even though you break 970 to the downside, let's just say it wasn't as good as people would have hoped or liked, or if projections were lower. What happens to the downside? Because if you break 970, then you got to deal with 950 through 925, and then you lose that. and then you immediately look at 850, and then it just like pretty much every 50 points down to the downside. It does look like I said this morning, it does look like Tesla is setting up for something, because it's, when was the last time you saw Tesla tighten up like this? It was tighten up for 5 days in a row before it made a move. And you look back and you're like, okay, that was in early February, and that was before we broke from 920 down to 720. So a big move pending doesn't mean the direction's going to be to the downside. It just means a big move pending, because Tesla doesn't go this sideways in this type of range without looking for a big move out of that range. So that's what we're waiting for on Tesla, setting the upper band, setting the lower band, see which direction it wants to go. And then at that point, given that I don't trade it, I won't trade it. But at the same time, it brings volatility to the NASDAQ index, because it is in the top 5 weights of the NASDAQ. So I appreciate that when it comes to futures trades.
Yeah, and look, we talked about Tesla, some great levels there. No point in really going over it. I didn't trade Tesla today, but we did trade NIO. We waited for that 1950 area. That broke right there. We took that to the long side, our best out 1980 right there, a good year. It's only got as high as 1987. So yeah, if you could tell me one song in 1987, then you win. I go something with Michael Jackson, something like that, you'll be fine. But right there, that's what I took. NIO. Looks like NIO wants to go back up to the upside. I think it's a little bit crazy to trade a stock ahead of earnings as if you know something. I feel like Tesla's going to beat, but again, that's just a feeling. And I got a feeling was not in 1987. But I like Tesla. I've just been recently buying it, and I'm a bull there. So we'll wait to see on earnings. But I just don't see anybody selling their shares ahead of earnings. So that's where I am with Tesla. It's a wait and see situation. And it comes out, no surprise, 4:20 tomorrow after market earnings for Tesla.
DWAC, we mentioned right off the bat when we came on at 2 o'clock there, just popped up again, trying to get back above 49, guys. So we had this initial move from 47 up to 50. A little bit of volume coming back in. Still didn't see any reason for that spike. But DWAC of note, CFEI also made that same move, but came all the way back. So DWAC and CFEI also trying here.
Well, when Twitter moves, at this point, they're so linked to each other that if one moves, the other is going to move too, right? Opposing directions. Twitter goes in one direction, DWAC's going to go in the opposite direction. That's what you're seeing here. So one's going to move with the other in opposing direction, inverse relationship, and you've got to keep an eye on both. Depending on whichever one you want to trade, whichever one you think is going to be a better trade for you, go with it. But at this point in this environment, given what's happening with Twitter, I think you've got to keep an eye on both, regardless of direction.
Yeah, I haven't even really looked at DWAC much, but, oh, come on, it's a NASDAQ name. This is one of the best SPACs ever, probably, coming out at $10 and then ripping to like 180 on that first couple of days when it was announced, who was involved, so on and so forth. And look, regardless of your like political affiliation or anything like that, we're here to talk about stock. And honestly, like right now, I don't know why this name came to our attention right now. I mean, obviously it's a big spike up to $50 right there. But you're still, and I think this is what you were saying too, you're still very much in this range right now, between 45 and 50. So this is actually great for a trade. I just don't have a preference. Like if this was AMD or something like that, and it was like, okay, we're starting to break out, then I'd be buyer of this name. It's just when you have some of these ties, like what's going to happen with Twitter? What kind of valuation are coming through? We don't even have the True Social here in Canada, so I don't know what membership is like or anything like that, but a nice little spike up there today gets it to that 51. So just watch. I mean, it only got it to 50, right, I believe, today? Yeah, 450 almost on the dot. So watch out for that 51. Really, that's where the break happens. And then if you're downside, I think you just got to respect all these wicks, man, and really just give it to 50. So you're stuck in like a $10 range right now. Much more exciting once it breaks out. So for me, DWAC will have to put a stop on that one and wait to see what's coming for this name, but not now. Back to Brendan. Now, are we done? The rundown is done? Okay, the rundown is done. All right, there it is. All right, so yeah, normally we go back to Brendan there, so it caught us off guard a little bit. So I'm not going to do DWAC, but I did get a nice little reload there. You guys saw me go there on Facebook. So Facebook, we got stopped there, I guess, on a wick. It looks like it's coming back in. We only have 40% of this trade left. We got a beautiful out there at 38, 39 there on the rip up. So, watch where my out's going to be, and then it's just about taking some profit, trying to let this breathe a little bit. So Unfortunately, Facebook's been my #1 stock today. So all good on Facebook when we went long here. But right now, the market's starting to feel weak. And I feel like there's a lot of news still to come. Like something's going to happen here. That NASDAQ just went for a roller coaster up and down again, including just what we're doing right now. A move up, now a move back down. So this is the same story as the other day. If we take down this 14.1 right here and start to go back to the downside, then yeah, it's finished, it's collapsed. But I still feel like we could retest highs. So right now, the market's just trying to figure itself out. Let's just hope we don't get stopped out of anything. But right now, my Facebook stop out isn't until 216.50. So trying to give it some room down here. That's 40 cents. We already took 50 cents on that take. So let's give it some room to breathe here. That's that trade. And then my #2 stock today, Ford is close on this, but AMD now up to 96.97. This is what Arun said. He says, you don't hold your positions long enough. And he's right. It comes right up there to 96, and instantly I'm like, let's get out. So we get out some more there. And all we've been doing here, remember that huge drop? So we were well in the money. We had way too many shares. I even went to Arun. Arun's like, what the hell are you doing with that many shares? But we had too many shares down here, but it started to blow up. We were trying to respect this level. That worked. We got out a hell of a lot of shares on the upside up here when we came back and saw where we were. Then that crash happened and no news. So we just buy it back. Buy 3 times. Now we're obviously back into the money and starting to go upside right now for AMD. Long 95.61. And really, target's back up here. I think the NASDAQ can go again. So let's see if that does take off. Only real problem right now is Facebook because that's below that 217. We had hoped that it would stay above it, but that doesn't seem to be happening. Maybe a nether out around 20 if we can get it right where this 50 period is, and then hopefully hold for 218 higher. Look, if the market's going to go, I'm long the names I want to be long. AMD and Facebook. So you talk about this all the time, Arun, waiting in the NASDAQ. NASDAQ 1.5%. Facebook double that today. So I think if we're going to be relatively strong the rest of this day, then we have 2 good names here with AMD and Facebook.
Yeah, and you're getting a ton of movement out of tech, right? Although tech was lagging to start the day, when S&P was taking off, tech was relatively weak. And then tech did a catch up and we took off to the upside, right? Facebook running just a shade underneath 3% right now. We're at 2.88 now. And Amazon following suit at 2.64. Those are the 2 leaders in the tech world, or tech index, at the top of the tech index, that actually have weight to move these indexes. I look at this list and I'm going, oh man, everything is good except for the big glaring sign, Pfizer. Pfizer, what are you doing, Pfizer? Down 3.8%, almost 4% to the downside. Pfizer taking a nosedive here today after going through these 52s, actually opening below these 52s, and continuing its move to the downside. It wasn't just, initial run through 50 and go. Essentially was a move down. It was traded down. We started at around 51.5, I believe, and then we just worked our way south to 51, traded there, fell through 50 just recently, and now we're making a small little bounce. So Pfizer being the one red name that I'm noticing in a field of green. So here we are waiting for my positions to get going. We've had Roblox and we've had Roku since this morning, right? There's 3 trades I've made on the day. So if anyone's wondering what I'm doing or how I've traded, it's those 2 positions that you see here and the 1 position on the futures that you don't see that did not work out. I got blown out on the short on the futures, right? So I'll talk about that one first. It was a 90 short, the 43.90 short against the 44.15 stop. We lost pretty much almost 40 points, not 40 points. It was 25, just a bit more than 25 points per contract on this. And we walked away from this. I only need 1 trade on the futures to get the read right. If I don't get it right on the first one, odds are the read's off, or I can flip it around. And I couldn't flip it around to a long, so I'm just waiting, sitting back, right? And then we had the Roku long, right? We were working Roku long, 112 north of the 110 area after it bounced off the 110s early in the morning. And 112 long against the 108 stop, 4-point risk, takes off. Got out some around 117. We were working 117 to 118 as a target. We made a 1-to-1 on the first portion. We're trailing the rest. So in the event it wants to expand to the upside, we can let it go. And then the last one is going to be Roblox. We had Roblox after it broke 40. This happened after the market opened when the futures were taking off. 40, decent strength. We caught it on pullback. It takes towards 41, cashed out some. keeps going. Stalled out around 42. I was a little concerned in the event that I need to move the stops up. But no, we continued on and we're just trailing. That's it. That's all I've got. I have 3 trades. One of them is a loser. 2 of them are winners. You've seen the 2 winners on the board. The loser's been dealt with, so that's already gone. As I say that, though, at the corner of my screen, I see SBFM still going. SBFM is still going. Now it's at 440 after taking off from that 376 halt opening price.
Yeah, there's so many wild names. I mean, we just spin it.
Money.
I mean, Facebook put some more money in our pockets right there. We just bought that dip, right? I mean, it dipped down into that 216.80 area, but we actually got out there and got back in. But I mean, it's still about buying that confidence back in now. So I do have an offer in the 30s again. See if we get something out to the upside where we already gotten out 38 once. Let's see if we can get 38 twice. One more time, a nice little win here for Facebook. It's only 50 cents, but let's see if we can hold now the rest of this, because look, we did pretty good job holding here, but now the NASDAQ, it wants to go back to the upside. So I'm pretty, we didn't get that fill right there. So I'm pretty confident that just give us that 38 if it goes up. A couple more pennies there and we'll get, no, it doesn't want to give us 38. But anyways, as the NASDAQ starts to go, I feel like it's made a decision. It took out the 50 period. You're not even in power hour yet, man. It's only 240 right now. So this market, like Arun said, it still has a long way to go. So who knows? Oh, man, we just missed that 38. That's pretty unbelievable. AMD also working in the money. Unfortunately, I can't even really show you this chart. Oh, no, Ford got cleaned up there on the 1 minute. Okay, that's good. So Ford, nice little move back to the upside. We still have shares on this. We'll probably get some out now. I was debating getting it out when we started to break through VWAP, but Ford's still working. And what was Ford today? It was a pullback into 1580. This is where we liked on 1580. We liked it right here. It was that breaking spot right into there. High, and stop. Today we opened up greater than 1580, so we had to play the pullback, which actually got us in to these nice longs right here. Pulls back, our first take was 94. Our next take there was 90, ripped it all the way to 20. Our best outs, though, 16. So I think you take one more out here at 11 if we're lucky enough. Let's go over to Brendan and put this offer out and see about lightening up on Ford.
Just quickly, there's a note on Apple, guys, just out trying to get back to day highs or close to day highs anyways. Regarding tap to pay on the iPhone, apparently they're going to accept, I guess, incoming payments from contactless credit and debit cards. So that rumor floating around right now online. Not much of a reaction there for Apple. It is still positive on the day, as I mentioned. Also, quickly while I have you, lots of rumors floating around about IPOF. I know everyone's a fan, but IPOF making some moves back to 1075. Nothing concrete that I can see.
I legit thought when Brendan said IPOF, for whatever reason, I thought IHOP. I don't know why. I don't know. We had a pretty good lunch too, but I don't know why I was thinking IHOP.
Yeah, what did you think about the Taco Tuesday?
I'm appreciative of the tacos.
You like the tacos?
No, I said I'm appreciative of the tacos.
I thought you put in here that you like the tacos here.
I didn't say anything in the chat.
Oh, you didn't say anything in the
no,
chat?
Prad's like, in that chat. Prad's like, Prad was excited when you sent him the pictures in the chat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Prad, I had your tacos. He's like, at least it didn't go to waste. Because he gets like a special plate where everything's already portioned out for him. I just didn't want to make my own, so I just took his since he's not here. So hopefully he'll be here soon. Hopefully by midweek, maybe, in the midweek or so.
What you wrote exactly was, I had your plate of tacos, Prad. They were delicious.
They were delicious.
So that's all. So there we go. So that's what
No, but keep in mind, I only said that so I can press on Prad a little bit.
Here it is. So here's the come over here, at Trader TV Sean. This was the layout right here. And it just goes like this. Hard shell. I don't think there was there soft shells? Yeah,
there were soft shells.
Yeah, so soft shells, the beef with the peppers, blah, 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 as it goes. Tomato, onion, some jalapenos, everything right in there, so on and so forth. But yeah, good. So Taco Tuesday. So it's up to Taco Eater. There we go. We told you we'd do that. Not chicken dinner winner, but it was a taco winner today. So that was good. I know they talked about that on the midday show. So shout out to Prad, Prad will be back in the building tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
So Prad's going to be coming back tomorrow, so we're looking forward to him coming through on that midday show, bigger and better than ever, and very, very soon switching over seats. So Lucas is actually going to be gone beginning of May. And when he comes back, we switch over, and then we go on that one. Hey, Randy, what's going on?
Yo.
Want to give me a coffee by any chance?
Just,
yeah, this
I
one's very,
want to
very
say one
cold.
thing about the tacos,
Thank you,
though.
Randy. Yeah.
To be fair, and this is me being very,
They were
very
delicious, remember?
They were delicious,
They were.
and that's all I'm going to say. They were delicious. Now, see, I say that, and he's coming back tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Motivating him.
he doesn't want me taking his food anymore.
I like that.
The tortilla shells I found to be really big. I don't know if you can call them tacos at that point. They could easily be wrapped.
Those were taco shells.
They were kind of big, though.
They're a bit big. They're a bit big.
And two, hard shells tacos do not exist. I don't know why they would even be considered tacos, because soft shell all the way. That's my opinion. I know there was a poll about hard shell or soft shell, but for me, soft shell flour tortillas, that's it. Nothing else exists. Maybe, people can argue for corn tortillas, but soft shell flour tortillas, that's the only way to go when it comes to eating tacos.
That's right. We did have that poll up. It was who wound up winning that, Ms. V? There was a poll versus hard versus soft. Soft?
See, people know.
Soft takes it down. I feel like soft shell tacos are more like burritos, though, right?
Depends. If you put too
Depends
much in
on the
it, they can
size.
easily be a
Yeah,
burrito.
yeah. I think the burrito's all about the size, right? I mean, is there something else? That's what she said. But okay, let's move over right now. AMD just continues to work. Oh yeah, so Facebook, double the outs there, right? Double the fun, double your pleasure on that one. As we get out there at 20, and then 18s, and then we got out some at 24 right there for a nice little out. So far so good, man, on this one. But it's getting close to tipping down one more time. So I don't know, maybe Facebook's not as strong as we thought it was, and maybe it's about time to give up the ghost right now. So this is one, 216.50, could easily come out now. We're gonna watch out for that. We only have 20% of our position left, so doesn't look very strong right now. If anything, we may wanna look short now on Facebook just from that level. So very, very careful on that one. AMD, we've also started to get out of that right now as well. So if there's any names, someone said yesterday, or someone I just saw in the chat actually not too long ago, that, just because tomorrow's 420, is there any possibility for marijuana stocks to start to go? No, I would say almost the opposite. Might be a good opportunity to sell them. People might get excited thinking that there was some bids coming through. Until something changes fundamentally in the United States with legislation, so on and so forth, I don't feel like anything's gonna happen to these marijuana stocks. I mean, you could get a little squeeze, but I would fade any of those squeezes. So unless you're a really active trader, I don't like the buy tonight for the hold tomorrow just because of the date. But hey, weird things have happened. What's up, Brendan?
All right, thanks, guys. We are happy this afternoon to have James Rickards with us, who is the author of the financial newsletter Strategic Intelligence. He's also a New York Times best-selling author of multiple titles, Road to Ruin, The New Great Depression, Aftermath. We're going to focus on the New Great Depression a little bit, the winners and losers in a post-pandemic world. Mr. Rickards, it's great to have you, first of all, on the show and to get your opinions here on where we are overall as far as the economy is concerned, where we are overall as far as the markets are concerned. Tell us about the latest book here.
Yeah, this book came out in January 2021, so a little over a year at this point. It's called The New Great Depression, but it has 3 chapters on the economy. That was really the main focus, but also has 3 chapters on the pandemic. And a lot of it was written in mid to late 2020 during the first stage of the pandemic. And I said at the time, the virus came from a lab, masks don't work, lockdowns don't work. I wasn't expecting a vaccine, but they don't work either, obviously. So I was really a good year ahead of most of the conclusions on that. All those things have been borne out. The data is clear that whether you wear masks or not, it's a choice. Vaccine or not, that's a choice, but it really has no impact on the spread of the disease. What does work at the end of the day is what's called herd immunity. That's why China's in a very vulnerable position right now, because they had such extreme lockdown policies, the so-called zero COVID policy, which is foolish. I mean, you might as well say zero colds. We're not going to let anybody get a cold. They shut down Shanghai, city of 26 million people. It's going on right now. This is not old news. This is happening today. So the policy makes no sense. But as a result of doing this for over a year, they've had no ability to get herd immunity. So they're extremely vulnerable to, actually, it's the Omicron variant right now, which is already sort of torn through Europe and the United States. So it's still having a major economic impact, and we're looking at a slowdown in China right now because of it.
Let's focus on the market here a little bit. As far as the overall year has portrayed and kind of played itself out here, we're obviously down 15% on the NASDAQ. We're down 5.5% or so on, or 7.5% on the S&P 500 from all-time highs. In your opinion, where does this end as far as this, move to the downside? And what should we be looking at as far as, if not levels as to what could come into play, but maybe more macro signs as to, where the overall move is in its infancy?
Sure. I mean, of course, the stock market goes up and down every day, and people, I think they have if you're a day trader or whatever, fine, that's all you do. But people have too short attention spans. I look at it a slightly wider perspective. The way I think about it, the stock market's kind of where it was in May of 2021. In other words, it's gone nowhere in a year. I'm more of a macro analyst than a technician, but I do look at charts, and we've had a just about perfect head and shoulders formation. A rally, then a decline, then the all-time highs, then another decline, then another rally that didn't get as high as the last one, and now down significantly from there. So the head and shoulders is complete. The downtrend is clear. It's a pattern of lower highs and lower lows, but I expect it to get a lot worse. I expect it to drop, I would say precipitously, meaning at least 20%, maybe 30% or more from here. That's because the U.S. economy and indeed the global economy are very likely to go into a global recession for a number of reasons. One is, I mentioned the COVID shutdowns are still going on. Two, maybe more to the point, this is bigger than COVID, is the supply chain disruption. I've just completed a new book. It'll be out later this year called Sold Out. It really looks very, very closely at the supply chain. The supply chain breakdown had really started with the Trump trade wars. It got worse during the pandemic. But now with the war in Ukraine and the U.S.-Russia economic war, which is going on side by side with the shooting war. The shooting war, of course, is tragic. We all sympathize with the victims there, but there's an even bigger economic war going on. But by late this year, we could be looking at a humanitarian crisis, starvation in Africa, the Middle East. Russia and Ukraine combined are about 20 to 25% of global grain exports. But when you go country by country in Africa and the Middle East, Lebanon in particular, what you discover is that for a lot of those countries, they get 70, 80, in some cases even 100% of their grain from either Ukraine or Russia. So it's not just, it's a big impact globally at best, but when you go country by country, there's 700 million people, 10% of the world's population, who are going to be affected by this. But even if you're in the developed economies, the supply chain breakdown is obviously higher cost. Inflation's here. So here's where the stock market meltdown will come in. The Fed is out to crush inflation. They're doing a really poor job of it, as usual. They're going to raise 50 basis points in May. They're going to raise another 50 basis points in June. They're going to do QT, which is quantitative tightening, where they actually reduce the money supply. That's an extreme form of tightening. We haven't seen anything quite like it, maybe a little bit 94, but really since 1994, rather, but really since Volcker. But the point is, inflation is 8%, and interest rates are going from 25 basis points to 50 to maybe 1.25. How do you crush 8% inflation with 1% interest rates? You can't. You've got to get positive real rates. That means the Fed's got to take inflation rates, interest rates rather, to 10% to have a 2% real rate when you subtract 8% inflation. Now, the Fed's betting inflation is coming down, but there's no evidence for that because of the supply chain breakdown I just mentioned. So what's going to happen is the Fed's going to tighten, get the economy to the brink of recession, throw the stock market into a nosedive. At that point, they're going to have to make a big decision, which is, do we keep tightening and crush inflation, even at the risk of a recession and stock market crash, which is what Paul Volcker did, or do we balk, stop cutting rates, stop raising rates, start cutting rates, which is what they did in 2019. But if you do that, inflation is going to rip. So it's bad for the stock market either way.
Yeah, it's obviously more to come as far as this topic is concerned, guys. The Great Depression is the latest book from James Rickards, Winners and Losers of a Post-Pandemic World. Check it out on Amazon, I just saw. So we appreciate your time. James Rickards, thanks so much.
Thanks.
There we go, guys.
All right, yeah. Hey, Arun, what's going on? Yeah, Arun just stepped out there to get a quick drink. But always nice to have different perspectives, different guests on, and especially an author. So well-respected, a lot of knowledge there. Talking about not being too technical, head and shoulder patterns, things like that. So yeah, let's respect all the guests that we have on, and another great one. So thanks for that, Brendo, that's for sure. But yeah, okay, let's just move on right here. So we'll just look at some of the stocks that we were looking at. Roku was a monster move today. Win with a monster move today. Twilio with a nice move today. Let's just check out how our friend Kathy Wood is doing. Let's just check out ARK today. Back down. You know, the funny thing about ARK is, I just wonder here, and I'm not, you know, I'm in ARK KQ. We talked about that name before, and why I like that. I prefer the names that are in that ETF. Of course, this is the flagship, the ARK KK. Mine was technology and robotics. Just believe in that a little bit more than some of these names. But ARK right now, not been good the last little while. So it's funny because they're only up 3.6%, which I guess is pretty big for an ETF. But a lot of the names that they're holding are up way more than that, which leads me to believe that if you really did want to throw some money at some of these names, it's almost better to individually pick them than throw them into ARK. Just as a side note there, like some of the biggest holdings in ARK, of course, you have Tesla is going to be in there, and then Roku today. I mean, just like what I was saying, ARK up 3.66%. Check Roku up today, up 8%. So a little bit of a better performer there. What exactly is going on with Twitter? I tried to get longer with AMD. So unfortunately, though, it came down, and you know the market was whatever it was. I was waiting at 96. It only went down as low as 96.05. So I kind of think that we can respect this 50 period here on AMD. So let's look at that if that gets going again. We did get our out right there at 11s or 12s. I guess it was 11s there on Ford. So now we have these wicks. So that's going to turned out to be a good trade now. Other than that, any names you guys want us to look at? I mean, there's been some good runners today. One name I wanted to look at was SoFi. Speak about, you know, some beat down names that have come to market in the last year and a bit. SoFi, no better name comes to mind. I mean, we talked about this having a big 2022? Big 2022, and it seems to be completely the opposite here. They got their bank charter when it was around 11 or 12. I believe it was this date in late February. We ripped up the 13 and then basically hit the 50 period and fell right back down. And now today, you're getting SoFi again, possibly at a buy level right here. It's just we're below the 50 period and below VWAP. I'd rather take stock that are above these levels. So if anything, maybe the market, I mean, maybe I need a Arun, which is back in the seat. What's up, buddy? I was wondering about what you thought about the market, because if the market fades out, there are some names here that are outperforming today, like a SoFi up 3%, that could easily fall back down here. So AMD, I'm already long that name. We talked about Apple today, and look at Apple's relative weakness. I mean, we don't say that too often, but you know, yesterday I almost got absolutely destroyed, getting clocked out there yesterday on Apple early, right here. And then revenge was a sweet, sweet dish, because we got out there after averaging in, and then we just kept hitting the short. Short, out, some shorts there. Shorts again, all the way in before finally reversing into a long for the close. But Apple today only up that 0.92 against the NASDAQ, which is up now 1.7 and looking to take out these highs. So if we think the NASDAQ's going to fade off these highs, Apple short here might be the play, and I'm going to look at that. Yeah,
I don't know if this market's got a sell side move left in it. I mean, like, yeah, it came off a little bit, but at the same time, the way it's been moving up and the way it's been holding up, coming off of these levels, it makes it seem like there's a secondary leg waiting to happen here. So yes, we shot up from south of 4,400 all the way up to 4,450, and then now we fell down to like 35 or so. But that's healthy. After a move like that, if you're willing to come back down 15 points, maybe not even 20 points at this point, about 15 points or so, and you're willing to do it in a controlled fashion, that's just a good way to get some longs that need to cash out of the way before we extend to the upside once again. Yeah, we're in a sell zone. Yeah, we're 44.65 is the top end level that I've got, but we're nowhere near ready for a short up in this sell zone. So what I'm thinking is we're in the final hour. We're getting to the final hour. We could easily continue accelerating to the upside. Crude has been quite the story, down 5.5% as of right now. and gold down a shade underneath 3%. So gold down 2.8% as of right now, and crude, huge story there. Before I get to crude, though, with the future side of things, it looks like we have a chance to expand to the highs even one more time. We have a chance to get going, and given how we saw closing programs at the end of the day yesterday run it up, it could easily happen again, and we could take out these resistance levels and continue the expansion that has started pretty much since yesterday's close. So let's take a quick look at crude, and I think crude is crazy because it's so respective of the levels that you mark for it. And we talked about this last week when Neil was at the desk for Brendan, and he was asking me about it when we were trading around 95-ish. And I was like, well, as long as we hold between 92.5 and 92 even, you play the bottom end of the range, and as long as you enter that 105 going into 110, if you can find a reason to find a short up there, you either work the short up top or you work the long down below and you do nothing in the middle. And that's pretty much what it was, right? It bounced off that 92.5. We opened the day, I believe, on the 12th at like 94-ish or something like that. And then we just ran all the way up to 110. And now we're falling right from that 110 back down to 102, right back into the middle of the range. And that's all you have to do. Catch the bottom, catch the top, work the edges, and stay away from the middle, and that's it. And crude, although it's down 5.5% on the day, this is not surprising. Same way it wasn't surprising when it bounced right off those 92 halves. It's not surprising that it fell off the 110s. So crude's still respecting the edges and the bands that it wants to play in between, because we have been here since the end of March. We've just been working the top and the bottom since the end of March, and here we are back towards 102. And if this is where crude wants to go, you back off. Let it go. It'll get back under 95, and we'll look at it again, because right now the momentum is to the downside. So as it's heading down, the market's heading up, and it looks like crude has space to go. Crude has another $10 or so before, well, $7 or so before it hits support. So market has some resistance here, but it can clear it if it gets going to the upside, especially with some earnings coming out.
I feel like I'm on the wrong contract. I feel like K's switched over already.
It's 25th. What is it today? 19th?
So maybe soon. Maybe we're just getting a little bit. I'll look into that after. But okay, out another spot here on AMD. But reason why I called this up, because we have a new position alert, and I always like to hit this at least to wake people up, because we're in a new position. And I took Apple long. I sort of was listening to what Arun said. I feel like there's more room to the upside here today. So we'll just go long right now. We're long at 60. You can see that there. We have 4 positions: Apple, AMD, Ford, and Facebook, all to the long side. So you know which way I'm thinking we're going to be going today. We do have the imbalances coming out, but we are now into power hour. So let's get going, as tomorrow is 420. We're not trading any marijuana stocks, but if you're celebrating, tomorrow's a big day for you. Make sure you still get into work, though, as that should be your most important thing. But here we go. I'm just thinking that we could break. It's just these highs. Look, we've hit 70 there on Apple, 70 there on Apple, 70 again, and we just hit it right now again, 70. So let's see if Apple can get going here. I believe it's worth a shot, and I'm not going to give this one too far, man. I actually put my stop, believe it or not, breaking back. I mean, it's going to be out very, very soon. Breaking back down below 50, giving you a little bit more love, like into the 40s, and then we're out. We're going to put out, now we're in a bigger position now for Apple. Maybe it's not as strong as we'd hoped. We're only going to give this to 40. If it breaks, then we're gone. But right now, loaded back up on Apple. Pretty big position, but we're not giving it too much room. So this is what we're looking for on AAPL. But all that said, it's Ms. V time. What up?
Hey guys, Power Hour officially has begun. Thank you so much for watching us, and make sure you like this video. We're actually very close to get that 420 likes ahead of 20th of April. So yes, please go long on the like button. Shout out to Dominic Famularo for sending a super chat. MDVL up 42% in the last hour. Indeed, MDVL is a RIP city. And also, guys, I made a poll on the chat. What do you think about Netflix earnings? And 56% think that earnings will be worse than expected, while the rest say minority that better than expected. Sean, Arun, what do you think Netflix, in your opinion, will report better or worse?
Yeah, I mean, man, it's such a good question because, first of all, it's a good question, but it's one that's hard to answer because we'll call up Netflix right now. I'm watching Apple, like, let's go, man. Hopefully we can bounce off. I'm only giving this one 15 cents. We talked about that to the downside. So if it does make its way upside here, we'll try to cash something out for Apple, but more to come on that one. I feel like it's weak right now. Again, I don't know why I keep flip-flopping back and forth here with Apple. But yeah, Netflix really, I don't know what their numbers are going to be. So I know what we're trying to look out for, though, obviously. And then if they don't get the subscribers, I haven't dug into like what's expected or anything like that. So you guys asking the question are more educated than me about what we're thinking here for Netflix. I'm just looking at it from a chart standpoint. We've come out. This is one of those charts that looks like Google, looks like Microsoft, looks like anything right now except for Apple. That's basically at its breaking point. Roku looked like that before taking off today. So let's just wait to see, man. I mean, if it doesn't hold this 330, it's not rocket science, then there's another 10% down back to 300. So I just look at it, say, if you don't hold this, and I think it was 3% growth, I think is what they're looking for. If they don't get that, then it's sayonara, see you to the downside. They haven't really come up. I mean, Bridgerton just came with season 2. That's something that I know a lot of people talk about. There was that Ultimatum show. I feel like last report we had Squid Game and we had a little bit more oomph to that. But right now, I don't have too much faith, honestly, in Netflix. I like the service. I think it's getting better. I'm wondering, though, now that we're talking about this, I'm wondering if they'll talk about their gaming division, because they were thinking about the gaming division, and they also were thinking about a paid subscription type of thing for Netflix. I was just trying to get out of some Apple shares as it just went nicely up, but came right back down there. A free version with ads.
For what?
For Netflix.
Netflix?
So instead of you paying because the thing is, right now they're trying to come away with that sharing of the passwords. So right now it's allowed. It's not like it's illegal. And people always say, oh, I give my password out, but it's actually allowed. So yeah, they're working on that. And I just wonder, will they be able to come up with a free version that's ad supported? That may help their growth in maybe, I don't want to say third world countries, but in countries where they don't exist yet. They exist there, but give a little bit more to the people. Accessibility, yeah, just making it more accessible for all. Yeah, good call on that one. What's up, Brendan?
Maybe we get more on that coming up tonight after market, guys. Couple of notes. MDVL, you remember from yesterday, or past couple of days, big mover just popping up here on volume. Back above $3 a key level for MDVL. Also, there was a note on Peloton I saw floating around. It's not the first time, but a lot of people passing around a note suggesting some sort of rowing device could be in the works for Peloton.
Peloton's still around? Oh man, okay.
What are you going to say about Peloton?
I'm just saying, it was hot during the last couple of years, and now it's an expensive coat rack for a lot of people.
And I mean, you want to talk about the ultimate COVID play there. I mean, Peloton. First of all, Apple went into the mid-60s. We got a little bit out there, got excited. But when I talk about getting out, we didn't get that much out. So let's wait and see if we get to the upside. Our best out there looks like 65 or so. So we'll hold out now and see if it goes. We're done now. I'm not going to get any more out. If it goes, it goes. That's fine. We just scalped a little bit there on that name. But let's go over to Peloton right now, as AMD's kind of falling back in. So that's making me a little bit nervous, of course, about our trade there with Apple, because we don't want to be long the whole market. We're already long Facebook, we're long Ford, we're long AMD, and now we're long AAPL. Yeah, this has been the story for Peloton here over the days. It hasn't been very good, man. Unfortunately, I don't think it was a tragic accident. I'm not sure an infant died, but there was on one of their past releases, I don't even know if you know this, but a kid got stuck underneath the treadmill.
Yeah.
So that was not good. And then so they got some slack for that, obviously. And then they came out, they re-advised numbers. There's still, I think their sales were still like, I don't know, 2-something billion or something like that. They have a lot of sales, Peloton, but that's not per quarter. But they're coming back in. They had that nice run back up to $40 right here on some buyout chatter. Look, I still think, and by the way, now Apple's starting to go, so we get out some more shares here. I still think that Peloton does have an opportunity to get bought out. I think like a Lululemon, a Nike, their market cap is south of $10 billion.
Lululemon has their own stuff. They don't need it.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, so part of the big thing about Peloton, of course, is they're now doing free, you can find them on YouTube and stuff like that. So you can actually put it onto your screen.
Okay.
So it's not, you just don't need the bike, is what I'm saying. You can have somebody else's bike. But
so the subscription.
Subscription model. So what I'm sort of thinking here about Peloton, my friend, is what if Lululemon outfitted all of their instructors, you know, that's
Lululemon's gonna outfit
the Peloton instructors. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wearing
The opposite
Lulu
direction.
clothes.
Okay, gotcha.
Or
yeah.
Nike buys them out, and all they do is throw ads for Nike. They put the little swoosh on the Peloton. I don't know. That's just what I'm talking about. I think there's opportunity there. So I like Peloton at these levels, to be honest with you. I think you can buy it. The bottom's been 20. Let's see what their report is, but I just feel like there's more to come there. Wow, Apple explosion right now. Oh, man, Arun. Man, why do I do this to my damn self every freaking time? Like, I get out. So here goes Apple right to the upside. And I told Arun the kind of shares that I had on, and it was a pretty serious position here for Apple. And there it goes, blowing up right up to the upside right there. So hallelujah, a nice little move there. But I have less than half of the position on right now. But we did have half all the way up here, and we just took some out. So a nice little move upside for Apple. Let's go, Apple, even though I'm Android, and you are too.
Yeah, I'll stick with Android. I'm a fan of the prefer BlackBerry though, but we know how that's going with BlackBerry. They moved over to Android anyways with the last series of phones. No, it's not, because everyone who's watched the show knows that I have that passport, the BlackBerry passport.
Neil's so embarrassed about BlackBerry that he
claims
claims that he doesn't have a BlackBerry anymore.
It's funny because Neil had to send me an email, and you know at the bottom it auto tags the where you're using it. Send from my BlackBerry. So imagine that the professional emails going.
You remember that fraud? Remember that?
Send from my BlackBerry. So
I couldn't win that day.
So that's what we're dealing with. Oh, going back to crude, Sean, you were asking crude. So immediately when I have questions regarding futures contracts, even if it's crude, I immediately go to CME Group. It's their product, so why not take a look? Obviously, it's traded on NYMEX, but it still falls under CME. So on their website, front month looks like it's going to be the M contract, CLM2. We moved away from K. Last position date is going to be the 21st, it looks like. 21st of... so the next settlement is tomorrow. So yeah, that's why it's moved over, because settlement is tomorrow. So everyone's kind of moving away from that. Anyone who doesn't want to take delivery is walking away from it today, because you know that you do not want to take delivery, because crude is one of the futures contracts that you have to take physical delivery of. And if you don't have the storage capacity or storage facilities, you are screwed. So it's not cash settled like the S&P or the NASDAQ futures contracts or the equity index futures, which are cash settled. So in this case, it's delivery. So nobody wants to take delivery. So everyone's moved over to the next one, which is the June contract. It'll go until settlement date of the 20th. So here we are kind of working, moving over. That's where the volume is. So that's where you're going to go trade. That's what's done, just a shade underneath 300,000 contracts as the futures moves to the upside. So anytime you guys have questions regarding anything futures related, just go on the CME Group website. They have it all. That's where I go anytime I have questions. As I say, this future is now putting in new highs.
Believe this?
Not at all, because this is the way it was pulling back. It's not surprising at all. Based on the way it was pulling back, it wasn't aggressive. It was only 15 points to the downside. It was controlled. So you know there's going to be a secondary look up north of the highs. And this could easily expand north of 65.
Explain that. What do you mean it was controlled? What does that mean? Because I'm trying to learn just as well as everybody else here. Because like I have a monster Facebook trade, $1 in the money. Apple, same thing. So like I want to put more of these on. So what does that mean?
So when you go up this fast, it's easy for a market that's too hot to fall off, right? So it gets a lot of people to take profit. But when you get a move that's actually just going down in steps, and without a ton of volume, if you actually check the volume, this is a 30-minute chart, by the way. Yeah, it's also noon volume, but at the same time, if you look at the volume going down, it's about 40,000 contracts on the way down, about 40,000 on the way up. Volume is kind of controlled a little bit. It's not like a ton of volume on the way down. Not everyone's dumping it as it stalls out inside of the sell zone. So when it finally gets a turn, you know that it's just some profit taking done. It's not something you got to worry about, because this market has another leg to the upside, and that's what you're seeing here. That's the only reason I didn't go short inside of the sell zone, because you can see by looking at the volume that, hey, you know what? This isn't some overheated market. It should have been after a move from 85 all the way up to 45, a 60-point move within 2 hours. It should have been overheated. But if it's overheated, it should fall off, but which it did not. So you found buying, so that allows you to actually expect a continued move to the upside, and that's what you got to kind of work with, right? And that's the same way I approach Roku. Roku, strong run to the upside, but based on the way it fell back a little bit, there's nothing to panic about. This is actually a decent approach, because this selling after a move like this allows for people that need to get out, take profit, to get out. while without breaking any sort of trends or any sort of upside momentum. It just allows an exit for people that need to leave and allowing the trend to continue whenever they get going. So that's what I'm looking at. Roku, we still got that one as it finally finds a rotation there, and Roblox as well. Roblox, for a move that's up almost 3% now, is starting to find a base around that 42. Maybe we get those 43s today, but we are long at 40 even, 40.13 to be exact, as the future is now looking at 44.57. To the upside, crude still down 5.4%, and gold falling off here. I kind of say gold, but it's not GLD. I go through the GDX Gold Miners ETF. That's what I pay attention to when I say gold. I mean, it's not the actual gold futures, but bear with me on that one. That's down 3.23%, also heading to the downside, still accelerating, still breaking lows. They just took out 39.60, which was the bottom for a while now, and still continuing to the downside.
I mean, let's celebrate. I mean, a great call in the futures, great analysis right there. And I mean, what kind of a day right now are we having for the afternoon? I mean, we just put these Facebook trades on for you guys here. And there it is, man. A nice little $1.15 in the money now, Facebook. So that's a good one. We just put on this AMD trade. This is all after 2 o'clock, man. The market fell back down and we're like, no, we wanted to buy AMD in this range. Boom, to the upside. This is $1.20 now in the money for AMD. And then Apple, we just put on Apple right here. Averaged in, had way too many shares, but thankfully we took the majority of them out here around 167, so that gave us a nice bump. And then now we still have a piece on back up to the upside. And by a piece, I mean like 25%. Like, I wish we had a hell of a lot more than that on board now for AAPL, but a great move to the upside. And like, the more that I look at this, I'm like, I got to take this out now. But that's part of just what I do for scalping. Like, you're right back here, right to the day's high. Oh man, this chart's honestly, I can't. I honestly, I can't anymore, Arun. I'm going to have to get upset.
Just use the EGC signal.
I know, but I have to show them for the show.
Yeah.
167.45 right there has been the high. So as we're approaching that right now for Apple coming right in, let's take another piece out right now on that trade. There you go. Did we get those 39s or not? Yes, we did. So we get those 39s straight through. And again, there's so much liquidity on Apple, really. Share size is almost irrelevant. You can use whatever share size you want on Apple. Trust me, you'll punch into a dark pool and it won't even move the stock. And then you guys don't like to hear that, but that's just the truth of it all. And there's websites out that show you the percentage of volume that's done in the lit market versus the dark, right? And like, when you're looking at this, and what I mean by the lit is everything you could see. So each one of these numbers, if you're just joining us for the first time, or maybe not, maybe we haven't gone over this enough, is representative for 100 shares. So maybe I can go on something a little bit slower. Let's go to AT&T quickly and I'll just show you a little bit here. So right now on the New York book, so that's on the floor of the NYSE, there's 27,000 shares. Now it's bouncing around, but as you can see, this number is represented for 100 shares. So sometimes, and maybe we'll go to Siri because I know that's not moving, or if it is, it'll take a while to get through. Sometimes you'll see much bigger levels here. Like if I'm looking at this, I look at the bid and I say, there's just so many more shares on the bid right here than there is the ask. So if anything, I used to say this to beginning traders, just take a screen cap of this. And you wouldn't use Siri because it's not that relevant, but which way would you rather go, long or short? It's just a very, very simple question, and the answer would just be long, and has nothing to do with you cover up the chart, has nothing to do with this, just there's more buyers right now than there are sellers. It doesn't work like that because, again, these guys can pull orders, and honestly, 10 million shares for the day, that's only 40,000 shares, so that can easily get taken down with one print. But that's some of the stuff that we teach here on the Toronto floor and at Day Trade the World is respect some of the size on the levels, and often you'll hear Arun or I, more Neil, because he's looking at some of those faster moving stocks. You'll be like, oh my God, you're like, what's moving? SBFM was the name, obviously, that's moving today. So you'll look through here and you'll try to say, okay, I'm not sure which way I want to go, but I do know that there's at least some size here at 10, but there's the same size as at 17, so those would kind of discount each other. And where did the size go at 10? It's gone, right? So again, sometimes people put orders in to influence decisions like I'm trying to make right now, and they say, oh, now look, there's big size there at 16, but when it gets to like 15, the guy's gone because they don't want to get that fill. So watch out, it's called spoofing, it's illegal, but at the same time, just because it's illegal doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? So that's just one of those examples there about spoofing and about size. Like right there, look at 05. There's a big size there at 05. So if you're going to go long at 08, you have your out. It's already given to you. If that 5 breaks, you get out. So that's part of some of the stuff that we teach. And if you're just a beginning trader, part of the Day Trade the World family, there's a little tip for you there. Look at size, especially on those runners, and use that for your ins or for your outs.
I mean, if you're feeling like you don't want to deal with this, you hit them.
Yeah.
You hit them. If they want to show it, you hit them. And because at some point, someone's going to panic.
Yeah, there's one way of finding out if
they're
real.
Yeah, even if they're real, if you give them more shares and they weren't expecting that fill, someone's panicking. How do I know this? Because I've been on the opposite side of this. So I know exactly what happens when you get shares and you're like, oh, I didn't want that. I was just putting it there. I know what that feels like. So I'm just saying that you hit them. If you got the juice, you just hit them with it and watch that thing run in the opposite direction, because it will go. Highly unlikely that actually this guy was willing to step in and continue doing that after that happens. So that's one way of getting around the situation, or you can just completely avoid the situation in itself. To be fair, though, a lot of the times if you watch the level 2, it's easy to get caught up in, oh, this is this guy's doing this, this guy's doing that. So it's one of those things where it's just like you just kind of avoid it. It's easier to just kind of look at the charts and be like, I'm going to pay attention to this. And go whatever read I want to make. Now, people are asking, did I spoof? No, that's not what I was talking about. This was also like 10, 15 years ago. Rules were different. So I can put orders, and if I'm expecting fills up to a certain point but not expecting the rest, that's just me getting overfilled in a position I did not want to be overfilled. So that's completely different. Also, the rules have changed over the years, I think, because of how easily things have been in the past. I think, especially around the 2007, 2008, oh man.
Haroon is a reform spoofer. No. So just so everybody knows, Day Trade the World on our platform is completely blocked all of those kind of
you can't
things.
do
so
that.
I'm not going to go into the stuff that we have to prevent that kind of stuff. But if you are in office with us here at Day Trade the World, we obviously take market regulation and everything like that extremely serious, because we're not going to, jeopardize anything that we have here. So to all of our 3,000 to 4,000 traders worldwide, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And there is surveillance running literally 24/7 on all of this stuff. So thank you for all of that. And again, it's about education. And I think that's the best thing that we could do for all of you guys here, is talk about what we've experienced in our time and what we've seen, and just try to pass it over to you guys so that hopefully you have similar stories to tell. And that's what it is, right? And someone said yesterday, how fun would it be to sit down, and hopefully you'll be able to come with us as well. When we open back up, I want to get all of us together, and I want to give a big thanks to Tony, to you, to Brandon, to Luca, to Ian, just for the job that everybody's done over the last little while with all the different hosting and everything like that. And the reason why I talk about that is there's always great stories that come from us sitting down at a bar with a couple drinks. So again, that should be a lot of fun, and I am looking forward to that. So let's just move on, and thank you again for all the love and the support. But Pineapple Pizza is back in the building right now, because there goes Apple taking out day's high back to the upside. We're long Apple 166.50. So Neil, get well soon, man. And I'm telling you, putting some of that pineapple on the pizza will definitely help your immune system. So let's get that going to the upside. And there goes AMD. Holy crap, Arun. You know the position I had on AMD and roughly where it was. It was way too many shares. But I got to give Arun credit. He's like, if you hold that, man, there's a good potential for some upside there. And I was like, I know, but I was worried about the downside, man. And that's part of me as a trader, not, way too conservative. We've talked about that, because now when AMD rips up, I literally have an embarrassing amount of what I had initially, but we were able to hold. We did take some good outs, man. I'm really happy getting them all out right here. It's very, very hard to predict the future, but I think we did a good job here with AMD today, including a bunch of shorts, and then we started to flip it over, and then right into here. Right when we started bouncing off VWAP is where I changed my mind, and then we started to go long. So all of these are longs, and then I was just long, and I was like, it's going to respect that VWAP. It has to. Came back in. We got it again right there, but realistically, it was these positions down here that we were really, really nervous about. We caught it back up to 96.40, and I made back it's embarrassing how much I was down, but a nice little move back up for AMD here, and just really glad they were able to hold that. So part of it is true, man. Pick the stock. And the funny thing is, we had a couple trades of the day last week where they were all AMD and they were all shorts because I wanted that short in AMD. I talked about that. As soon as we broke 100, we had downgrades. We had a bunch of different things coming out. NVIDIA was touching lower. SMH was getting cranked, everything, right? SMH was down something like 16% in 13 trading days or something crazy like that. So, but now things have turned around a little bit and now we're really getting spicy to the upside with AMD. So again, hard to predict these things, but if you're going to look for levels and wait for things to turn out, sometimes it does make sense to wait for high of the day. So we do have a position still on in AMD, but all the positions we're working with right now are pretty fire, man. This trade here, $1.20 in the money, Facebook, bought those dips. I don't know why we didn't get that dip again right there. Should have bought that back up. AMD and Apple, so three big NASDAQ names all to the long side and all working out quite well. As the NASDAQ ticking up again, man, don't they know that Powell's going to hike again? But maybe it doesn't matter, Arun.
Yeah, market doesn't care. Market's going to do what it's going to do. Right now it's earnings season, so it's moving accordingly. So with NASDAQ being up 2.29, what a comeback for the NASDAQ because it was lagging early and now we got going. Let me pull up the NASDAQ futures for you guys. We got going and then it was nonstop. Yeah, S&P's up too, but S&P's been leading the entire day. NASDAQ was actually hesitant to go up. Even after the S&P got going, and then they finally like, fine, we'll go to, and then they decided to accelerate. Next leg up, and this is huge too. Now we're re-entering that 300, 250 into 500 area. This opens the door. Again, I just want to say it opens the door, but I don't want to say it's a short. It opens the door into resistance. So it could easily come back down, but man, you got to respect the fact that this market has picked up some juice around that 13.9, 13.8. As we continue this move, a nice little move, what is it, about 300 points now from the bottom, from the open. And here we are just kind of continuing this upside. So we've got Roku back up to $5 in the money. We've got Roblox back up north of $2. We're at $2.15 in the money. Those are the only two positions I've had all day that are in the money. And then, of course, the futures position that was out of the money, the short that did not work out. And I never flipped on that one. So we're going to set that one aside. That one's a loser, no doubt about that. But the two winners that we've got, okay, let's see if Roku, with the market expanding to the upside, let's see if Roku can get north of that 118.5, and let's see if Roblox can get north of that 43, because that could open the door. If I have this until the end of the day, so in about 24 minutes, we've got the imbalances coming out. If we get positive movement, I'll hold Roblox and Roku, see if I can't take it right to the end. If they come out negative, then I may just like get out. As soon as I see what these imbalances are going to be, I'll just dump it.
Oh yeah, the imbalance.
Yeah, I don't need to hold on to it. At that point, it's been quite the run, right? So why should I hold on to these positions, especially when we need to be flat by the end of the day? So I'm going to just watch out for another 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes or so, see what these imbalances are going to come out, and then we'll figure out what to do. In terms of setting up trades, right? At this point, what I'm doing is I'm going through my list. What trades can I set up potentially for the next day, next trading session? And one, I'll show you guys, and I really don't care about what you guys see here, so I'll just show it to you guys. These are my alerts. These are all the alerts that have it. So the yellow ones haven't gone off yet, and the dash is the one that has gone off, but that was dash like well below. Actually, that should be.
Wasn't that a couple days ago?
Yeah, that one should have been
reloaded.
Yeah, that should have been reset. Yeah, and then someone was asking, how did I find Roku? Well, what I do is, first thing I do is I have a list of names that I want to look at every single day, right? I'll look at this list from top to bottom every single day. I'll look at every single one of these names, see what the chart looks like.
Did you create that list?
I did create that list. It's just a hot list. It's just a watch list for me.
It says major symbols.
Yeah, these are the majors that I want to look at, right? And so the first portion is the majors, tech majors, and Walmart's there as well. And then at the bottom, these are just hot names that float in and out. So I can always delete some names like Dash and Asana. Asana should probably be deleted at this point, but D-Dog, you got Lulu up there.
Yeah,
so
some of those were earnings plays.
So I float in and out of those names, and I'll look at the chart and see what I want to see. And then I'll go and look at what reported, what's moving, Brendan's hot list, and figure out what names look good for the chart that I want to look at. And the very first chart that I look at is always going to be the daily chart. So when I came into Roku this morning and I looked at the daily, I was like, okay, it's daily bounce as long as we can get north of 112, because you got that bounce south of 108, or you got that break south of 108. It gets back above that 112 area, which has been, hesitating for the last little bit on the way down. If we can stay strong above 112, there's a long there. What do? I then go down to the 5-minute. What do we got? We're working 112s in the morning around 9:35. It fell right through, and then it finally got above and started to stabilize right here. And then once I go to our charts, you'll see that that's exactly where I decided to go long. This is also the 5-minute. And I decided to go long right there. As soon as it stabilized north of 112, I'm like, it looks good on the daily. It looks good on the 5. We're good to go to the upside. I know the risk is $4. I know I can make back the $4 on a 1-to-1 risk reward. And here we are. We've made that, we made 5 actually on the first target, and we're holding the rest and see if we can actually manage this out and maybe get it out at the highs. Fairly simple. Create the list, look at the daily chart or any sort of chart that you look at. I position my trades, right? So I hold them a little bit longer. So I look at the daily and see if I can actually work some trades, and that's it. Of all the ones that I looked at on that list, I found 2 that I wanted to work with, and those are the 2 that you see on the screen.
Yeah, great. And that just goes by the difference there. Like for me, I didn't have Roku today, but again, great find for Roku. And I think that was more the important question there. For me, you see all this barcoding here yesterday afternoon. This was between 13 and 12. So yeah, that bottom is 112.50 there, and that top is 113.50. So you had $1 worth of a range there, and then just breaking yesterday's. This is what I did with Facebook. So I'll just bring it to Roku again. Breaking that 111.50 right there, which was yesterday's close. That could have been triggered as well. And then you did get some bounces around here of 112. So yeah, just what a great move upside there. And we talked about some of these names. Like if you're in the right names at the right time, wow, big time opportunities to make some profit, that's for sure. And yeah, we're reaping some profit on this side as well. For me, what happened to Ford? Okay, Ford. All right, there we go. We'll go fire off the cannons for Ford right there. There it goes. Got it. But right there, so it came right in, and Ford again off that same kind of like zoom out type of stuff here, right? If you go back in and you look at it, you can look at a 20 period, whatever you want. It was these 1580s right here that we've actually been looking at for the last couple of days, because we stopped there at 1580. We liked this break. We had some bottoms there. That's 1540, but we are trying to respect this level. And then today we open up higher. So Ford, just like Arun mentioned there, on my radar for tomorrow again, because and that's why he has Dash on there and all these kind of names, right? It doesn't mean just because something ticks today doesn't mean it's not going to tick tomorrow. So you have possibly multiple days of very similar entries back and forth again. So it's not like you'd go long Roku if it came back below 12. Things change all the time, but definitely good to sort of have a look out for some of those names. Wow, the NASDAQ just keeps on accelerating, but look what's not going up, right? Names like DraftKings, that, again, I like the space, is just, when you're in this, and a lot of things ticking days high, including the market right now, but this is off the days high, and it's not off by that much. You're only off by 30 cents, but I can't say this enough, and I know my boy Pratt is in DraftKings, and Tony likes to only buy stock that goes down, so maybe he's in DraftKings as well. But I just feel like the competition here, I'm waiting for someone, and it might be too late, but I'm waiting for like a bigger book to take these guys out. Like if the valuation comes in enough, I know they do have enough clients, but honestly, MGM, you have the Penn with Barstool. We have the Score here, which is also Penn, making moves in Canada. And it's just like, I get bombarded. FanDuel, and I'm sure you guys do too. Like I have a FanDuel account, and only one other one. I probably shouldn't say all my accounts, but we have these accounts, and it's just like you get promo after this, after that, and it's just like, oh my God, and that's part of why I didn't really like Roku as a longer term investment either. It's smart TVs are now just normal, and I feel like Roku, it's smart for them to get deals with TCL and things like that, so their system can be provided into platforms and already pre-built TVs. I just worry about DraftKings in the competition. So I don't know. I look to short this name, and I actually just wait for the day that they get downgraded and it opens up a little bit lower and we can start to short. I don't want to short anything right now because these positions, man, Arun, are just starting to get I wish they were upsized. They were at one point, not anymore. But Apple, $1.20 in the money. This Facebook, man, off that reload. How good were those reloads down there? Now you're $1.50 in the money, and it just goes to show, play the strongest names, man. Me and Arun are completely different styles. Both can win. but we've proven that over and over again. I like to scalp, get in and out, take a little bit more shares on these positions. Arun, less shares, hold for the bigger move. Like, there's a couple ways you can make $100, right? You could take 1,000 shares and take 10 cents, or you could take that 100 shares and take the dollar, right? Both is what you're trying to look for here. A combination of both is where the win is, in my opinion anyways. But do you, that's the number one thing. And we haven't talked to Valeria today. I think we should at some point, because I'm wondering if she's been in and out of Tesla at all today. But for right now, it's over at the big screen with Brendo, I think.
Did you? I don't think you did you? No, no she didn't, to answer your question. No Tesla today for Miss V. SEV, though, worth a note, guys. Just breaking back to the downside here through $8 was a huge pivot through the midday, really up huge anyway, still on monster volume. They reported their first, I guess, revenue of any kind whatsoever ever since going public for SEV.
I'm just looking at there at the chat. CG, Roku, the stock that I'm trading, the BlackBerry of entertainment.
Ooh.
I mean, you guys know how I feel about BlackBerries, so I mean, that's a good thing for me, I guess. But maybe. I mean, for now, Netflix is, you know, the hot name that everyone's looking at. My personal preference for Netflix, not that I'm making guesses on which direction it goes. I really don't care, because we're traders. We just want volatility. We don't care for directions. I personally spend a lot of time on Netflix when I'm waiting for trades to work out. What do you think I do during the day when I'm not on the show? So I would prefer that they have stellar earnings so they can bring out more content. That's my preference, right? Better content, more earnings gives them more money, and then they can drop another $100 million on a movie with The Rock or something. I don't know. I believe that is what they did, right? With that movie with The Rock and, who was it?
What are we talking about?
It was the last movie The Rock was in on Netflix. It was a Netflix production. It was like one of the.
Was it with Ryan Reynolds or something?
Yes.
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
That one.
We don't have to save too much more, because these guys will be on that in just a matter of time. But yeah, that's Netflix.
Yeah, that's Netflix for you.
Yeah, I like Netflix for their content, to be completely honest with you. I think content is king, and honestly, I want to buy Netflix. I'm waiting for this bad report to come out and then possibly buy it. I think it's so foolish. Trader Prad says, you know, often he'll say some smart things. And one of the biggest things that I take from him, and he says it all the time, and he kind of says it tongue in cheek, you know, whatever, but is that he doesn't have that crystal ball, because it's so hard to predict earnings and to say, you know what, I'm going to put on a big position now ahead of earnings, unless you have some kind of an inside, or really just that, I don't know, feeling, I guess. I find it's very, very silly. I don't ever I did put on a trade on Roblox before earnings. We talked about that. That started to work out. But again, it wasn't a monster position. I just feel like if you're going to put in a ton of money into an idea, you have to have a little more confidence than just looking at a chart. But that is what that is. So yeah, red notice. Yeah. Is that right? Someone put that in there. Yeah, that's right. So,
I mean, it was a good movie, but I don't think they should have spent $100 million on it. That was nuts.
Is that what they spent, $100 on?
They spent some stupid amount on it. It was nuts. It was like, it was one of their most expensive productions or something like that. I'm like, you guys can do better than dropping that much on one single movie.
Yeah, they probably could.
So yeah.
100 million. I mean, I have known nothing about movie production, so that to me sounds like a lot, but maybe not well spent. But again, it's all about content, right? Some of these movies will hit, and then that's that. Like, just like Apple wins that Oscar for, again, whatever that movie was called. But I was trying to watch Severance. My wife likes that show. Have you seen that? That's on Apple TV.
Severance? I have it. I haven't gotten around to watching it, though.
Yeah, but it's pretty freaky. We started too late, and I wind up falling asleep. So that is what my life is all about right now. I don't know about, I mean, I know you have a different schedule than me. You're up early, heading to the gym and everything. I deal with all the kids all the time. But, like, honestly, when it comes to, like, 10:30, 11 o'clock, like, I'm pretty exhausted, man. Like, even tonight, I got to go home. Oh, I'm coaching T-ball now, by the way. Oh. So now we got T-ball coaching, we got curling on the mind, and we got AMD on the mind right now. Those were some good ideas on the long, and I hope you guys, like Ice Cube says, today was a good day, and I hope it was for you too, Ms. V. What's up?
Hey, Sean, I think we need to boost the like button. We have 3,300 people watching, only 600 likes. Guys, we can do much better. Likes are absolutely free and means a lot for the community and the show. So please go long on the like button, and back to you guys.
Go long on the like button. Guys, you guys don't have to pay for shorts on the like button. You guys know how I feel about paying for shorts. So free longs on the like button there. Brendan.
Another one moving here into the close, guys. Veru, VERU. Crazy one over the past week or so. Big pop there on volume, 7% at day highs.
What was that?
Veru.
Veru, finally starting to go. Yeah, this was a name last week that was sort of left for dead. They're down near 11 and change, but wow, yeah, starting to pick up now. No news, right, Brendan? No, so just a nice little move upside for Veru. You can see the volume starting to pick up. Wow, up to 12 bucks and change one more time. And like, if you guys know what sort of gets these things going. I mean, Veru, obviously there's some social media, I'm guessing, behind it there. Like, no idea what sort of spikes these things, and we don't find any news. But there it is, taking down that high right there. 10 bucks for the day. So this is a daily chart, but taking that 10 bucks right there has been key. And since then it's held. And like I said, it's been a little bit of a ride the last couple of days, but it's all about like zooming out and saying, okay, if I'm going to let this thing go, where am I going to let this thing go at? And, a lot of people targeting this 10. We did dip down to 960. I don't think that would have been enough to get a lot of you guys out. So now a nice move back. But if you're going to do that same kind of a look, then you have to look at the upside as well. 15, 16, 17, definitely an area there to watch out for if this thing really gets going. Veru starting to go now. There's the day high break of 1250. Obviously that helps. I would right now be looking to fade that. That is that wick off. I mean, I don't think we have shortable shares, but that I'll try it. But that wick off top there means that those buyers got exhausted. Not only that, it also came on the largest candle for volume. So definitely some buyers were like,
yeah, you got to pay for them.
You got to pay for them right now? Ugh. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to do it now with only 20 minutes left, but right into there, that was a good opportunity, I feel like, to get short. If you ever see those wick bottoms or wick tops like that right there, especially with volume, that tends to have been a signal that maybe the trend is changing. So, like, again, if I had the shorts, I don't have them on, it's fine, I don't want them. But, you can go short right now, 68, 69, 70, something like that, and then use 80, whatever this top is, 87 as your out. So, that's a good trade for me if you are involved in this name, but Veru definitely taking off to the upside here. Some of these have come back in, though, like Apple. We did take a nice out there at 60s. It's trying to fall back in. If we take out this 21, 22, we'll take out one more piece, but definitely Apple destroyed there to the upside. We did have a big position. That's why there's so many outs. I just wish there was less outs down here and more up there, but I think we dealt with it pretty good. Coming back in now, 167 and change. My out's going to be targeting right here, break through the 50 period. 167.20. We'll take one more piece out of Apple.
Yeah, as it goes up, just be aware that as we get closer and closer to these imbalances, there could easily be some sell-side activity. There's a lot of longs on the table, right? We were looking for the expansion. The fact that the market didn't want to fall too fast allowed for the secondary push above the highs. Let me get this chart up. Yeah, we'll get the S&P 500. Yeah, so this drift down is perfectly healthy, especially in a strong market. Secondary leg up, new highs, perfectly fine. Hitting our 65 support level. Okay, we've hit our resistance level. We've hit that now. Second time we've fallen right off this. The first time, I believe it was late in the week last week. I was short against the 65. What day was that? I can't even remember. It was this day. There we go. What day was that? 12th. I was short against the 65 on the 12th. And then today, again, we're hitting that 65 and backing off again. Would I like this to break? I would hope that this level breaks overnight because when you keep hitting a level multiple times, it just pushes the stops a little bit further and the level no longer holds well. So although it's falling off a little bit, I would expect some sell-side activity to come in, profit-taking, in the event that these imbalances are not positive. Now, somebody posted that it could be 500 million to the sell side or something like that. That number is always changing. If you guys know where to grab that from Twitter or whatever, or even your own platforms. I was told that some TD Ameritrade and some other platforms actually show it in their screen or on their software. So maybe you guys have those numbers.
Sorry, what do they show?
The imbalance itself.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. That's what I remember. We were asking where they got it from.
Pre-350?
The early look.
Oh, okay, yeah. The early look.
Obviously,
okay.
the guy from Twitter is getting it from somewhere too. So I'm just curious. Some people were saying that last time we asked about that. So right. I don't know if that's true or not. But at the same time, that's pretty cool if you get to see the early look imbalance and it says that it's going to be sell side by a few hundred million or whatever. But it is coming back a little bit. We are in longs. although it's coming back, I'm going to hold on. I want to see these imbalances actually come out. As soon as they come out and I start to see Roblox and Roku dip, I'm gone, right? If it's a sell side imbalance, I want no part of this, because given how many longs are probably looking to get out, intraday longs are looking to get out, it's probably just going to take off to the downside. So I don't want to be part of that. It could still be a long technically on the future side of things, but it could be a sell wave into the imbalance and then into the end of the day. So you do have to balance it out and how you got to figure it out. But yeah, I don't know, guys. Somebody said 517. There you go. Kyle saying 517. For everyone who doesn't know, just put in the chat how you can find these imbalances on these softwares, because we have no clue. We just rely on the guy from Twitter, and then we'll see what happens.
Financial juice.
Financial juice. Pretty good, informative Twitter account there that would post it there. And then I guess TD Ameritrade and Webull has it also. So maybe we should look into those as well. See
Someone
what
said, yeah, TOS. I don't know what that platform is. People are saying get out now, Arun. What are you in?
Why? Why would I get out now? Roblox and Roku.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Why would I get out now?
I mean,
No.
I got out of some Apple there because it broke my level. But again, you have 4 minutes now until the imbalances come out. So again, thank you so much for watching the show today. We've had a big one again and again and again. I mean, every day I feel just so much. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very proud of what we've been able to build here for Trader TV, and I want to thank all the viewers. I mean, without the viewers, we don't have any of this. Like some of this, people saying that they love the commentary. Oh yeah, think or swim. Duh, TOS. Duh. Sorry about that. You know why TOS is
Time of sales.
Exactly. So I was going to say that's exactly. I was going to say, Arun, what do you think of when you see TOS? But yeah, think or swim. And that goes to just the teaching. We always teach, Arun and I, especially some traders here at Day Trade the World, talking about time and sales and things like that. So TAS, TOS.
Before we get a closer, Sean, somebody was I think it was Pat asking about imbalances. Can I explain it? I typically do. I do it earlier, so I'll do it real quick here. Imbalance locator for us. It looks like this. It's a feature in our software, built in-house, by the way, only available at Day Trade the World, only for Day Trade the World offices, by the way, so not for sale, can't use it outside. It looks like this. You pull it up, and it just has a symbol, the direction, the size, and the paired value. You can ignore the rest that's there. It is just there to see this symbol needs to execute this much size at the end of the day on the official closing price, right? That's what the imbalance means, and you just want to pay attention to that because it tends to put pressure on the name in the event that the imbalance is large enough relative to the daily volume. So if you've got Apple and the imbalance is 1 million shares and Apple's gone ahead and done 50 million shares on the day, it's not going to matter. It's not going to care, right? But if a stock has done, say, 2 million shares on the day and there's an imbalance for 1 million shares and it's a special indexing event, that means towards the end, this many shares need to be executed in this direction. Obviously, that number is going to change, but it's just a matter of trying to find the opposing side to reduce the, the variation from where the last trade happens as the market's open and where the official closing price comes in. So that's kind of the whole game here with these imbalances is, hey, this many shares needs to be done at the end of the day. This is probably going to put some pressure on the name. Is anyone willing to come in and be on the opposing side so we can reduce the amount of a difference it is between the last trade and the official closing price? And that's the whole thing with these imbalances. So you get that update at 350. You get another update at 355 when the floor sends their information into the books. So 350 is the first release for NASDAQ New York and now Toronto, which used to be at 340. Now it's at 350. For North American equity markets. And then at 355, the floor updates this with their interest in all of these names. Typically on a non-indexing event, so towards maybe the quarterly adjustments or options expirations, if you don't typically get those kind of days, those days are special days. So you might get some extra activity. But any other day, highly unlikely you're going to see large enough imbalances that actually push this stock or push an individual name so far unless there's a special event, spin-offs, deletions, additions, IPOs, something like that, right? Those are special events that will affect these imbalances. They tend to come in hotter. But apart from that, you're probably going to see you're probably not going to see a whole lot. It's been a big day today. It's been 2% on the upside. So you may see some tech names, but it shouldn't be large enough to push these names aggressively.
No, I think it'll probably be a bid here today. But again, just because the NASDAQ is up, we are starting to fall down a little bit and trying to catch a little bit of a bid right now. So I think with that being said, I might just put on a Qs here. Oops. I know you trade the futures, but I'm not going to put on that much risk right now. We'll just look at the Qs heading into this. I'm going to put on a little bit, although we've just made a nice move up. If I can, okay, there we go. So we got some 81s there. What did I get? What's my price? 81s, okay. So we just put a bid there, get some 81s. Now we'll see if these Qs can rip up to the upside. We will watch these imbalances. And again, I like to look at the way the day is going and then just see what's happening with a couple minutes heading into these imbalances. So now we're starting to head to the upside right now in the futures, and that's that. And again, we do, if anybody, and I keep saying this all the time, if there is there we go. Now we took one piece out there. I don't even need to wait for this imbalance to come out. We'll see if this can take out the high of the day. If it does, we're sitting there right now at 30, right in between here. So hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit of a profit there. We just took 20 clean cents on a third of the trade. That's it. Because this is about to go parabolic one way or the other now. Whether or not we lose on this trade, who knows? But down to 345 or so would be where we try to hold the rest of this in case we're wrong. But here now it's starting to pull back in with the imbalances coming in just a second. I'll call them up right now so we can look at them together. And they're going to come on our screen right now, coming out in only 5 seconds. These are nothing right now. They're all going to load up here, coming through in 3, 2, and 1, and we'll start to see the market imbalances come out now. And there we go. We'll sort it by size and see what's popping off. AT&T, 3 million to sell. Look at the market coming downside. Upside market. Upside market. Yeah, good move here. Wow, we are cash money right now as a nice little move to the upside. The Qs, $1 in the money. Oh my God, man, we are unplugged today. This is working out for us. A nice move up for the Q side. Apple with the big buy. There's Apple with a nice little buy side. And look what this did to Apple stock. So those of you that are not paying attention to these imbalances, look at Apple. Apple right now, hold my beer, as that's making a big move to the upside right now. So yeah, giving us an opportunity to cash out. Let's just do that right now. And bang! We haven't had the bang today, I don't think, but there it is, man. We are excited as these imbalances take it right back to where we need it to go. Nice trade there for Apple backside. Man, we made back a hell of a lot of money. Wow, what a day. I'm going to go get my hair cut. Hopefully that goes better than this trading day because it was a wild one. I need some nice, calm haircut here. Hopefully the guy's open. He wasn't open yesterday.
Oh, yesterday was also somewhat of a holiday for some people. So,
and you know what, barbers, I don't think on Mondays,
They don't want to work on Mondays. That's fair. That's the European style.
It is what
they do. What, Sunday and Mondays off, right? And
yeah, because Saturdays are busy because people going out hitting the town like Tony.
All right, Tony always hitting the
Pepperoni
town.
Man is in the building.
Yeah, he can step in anytime he wants. By the way, Tony, you just gotta let me know.
Step in. He ain't stepping in right now.
Let me know. Not right now.
Tony's trading.
Let me know so I don't have to drive down here. Roku. Here we go, positive move off these imbalances. I appreciate that, just like I appreciated the tacos, but not as much though. Roblox, positive movement, okay. Let's see if we can get some movement, a little bit more movement towards that 55 area, because 55 time, 355, that's when the next update is. Right now, the largest ones are gonna be on the amounts. I'm seeing AT&T and WBD. WBD, which one? That was, is that Warner Brothers?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Warner Brothers Discovery, yeah, okay. That's recent, so that's a sell side move of 1.3 million shares, and then AT&T, the big one, 2.8 to sell. But again, although it's big, again, non-indexing event, it's done 42 million shares on the day. It's already paired 1.3. I mean, there's 2.8 that still needs to be done, but it does look like it's going to be highly unlikely that AT&T stays this size because there are certain names that have a tendency to come out big and then just disappear. BAC, notorious. Visa, notorious. AT&T, notorious. GE used to do that too a lot. Now you don't even see GE come up here too much. But those names, after seeing them so often, you don't even kind of like, you're like, oh, that's not going to hold. You'll be more surprised if they actually hold towards the end. But again, 2.8 to the sell side for now. We'll see what happens at 355.
As if, man. Oh
my God.
What a move today in the last hour, let's call it. That AMD trade that I was literally like losing my mind over, it just touched 97, man. We got out 97 there out of a piece for this AMD trade. That was a good hold. We're holding one small piece left. We're waiting for 53, so you can see the time at the bottom there. or sorry, it's 53 now. We're waiting for 55. A lot of these numbers will flip over or get added to or paired off, vice versa, at 55. So someone just wrote down, Brennan put down here, it came out. Did you see what it came out as?
What?
You guys were saying that it was 500 million to the sell side, 2.3 to buy, 2.3 billion to buy from Brendo there. So again, I don't know if you guys can double check that with your imbalance locator on Thinkorswim or Webull. Apparently it's on there as well. But wow, what a monster number for that to come out there as 2.3 billion there. And there goes AMD, man. Yeah, punching in the face right now. We'd rather just drop down the cash on this name. What a great day it's been. Wow, to the upside. Oh, someone said Middle Eastern barbers are the best. Look, my guy's from Algeria. And he's amazing, and I really, really appreciate him. So shout out to all the barbers out there. Obviously, I'm not biased one way or the other. Italians have some pretty decent barbers as well. But just find one that you like, man, and go for it. Stay sharp. I'm not even going to ask Brendan about his hair again because honestly, I'm over that. Like every day this guy comes in looking mint. Well, I'm assuming he does it himself, but we'll see what happens.
He's shaking his head. He said no.
He goes and gets it done? No, he doesn't.
He's not going to answer his secret.
Or his wife does it.
No, come on, Sean.
Okay, I threw that out there. No.
Would you trust your wife with your hair?
Yeah, I would, but I'd have to have like the haircut, like I'd have to off.
No chance.
I wouldn't trust it to do like a fade like yours.
While I have you guys, Blackstone, Vista Equity, Brookfield Asset, among others now, according to Financial Times, ruling out
the market to the downside,
participating in the Twitter bid. So big names, Blackstone again, Vista Equity, and Brookfield, all saying pass on the Twitter buy.
All saying pass. Okay. All right. On that note, we just got out. I just hit offer enter there. The market did flip down. We talked about it at 355 that the imbalances would make a move there. You could see Apple's gone now. You still have AT&T, but again, that's going to pair off. We can see what AT&T is doing now. It is selling off here, coming to the downside. So there is no love right now for this AT&T sell-off. No one's pairing it off, man. I mean, we've only paired off 184, so that's 3 plus 2. There's 5 million shares there, and they can't find buyers. It's slowly pairing off now, but this could be a nice little imbalance to the downside, especially if that, well, not especially, it has to not pair off. WBD, again, another spin-off from that AT&T. These are all tied together. So we can look at what's going on here. This is going to the downside. We'll keep the imbalance locator up for you. I just have a few more positions. What? Facebook came all the way back down. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Wow, Facebook really got clapped. So that must have came out of a big buy. You can see what Facebook did at 350 from 217 all the way up to 218. We were $1 in the money. That came right back down in now. Wow, that came down a lot. I didn't even notice that. Like I said, we were embarrassingly light on Facebook. Actually, Facebook, we were at 10% still of this long. So you can see out there. So yeah, it's going to cost me a little bit of cash to go in there. Not that that's going to affect the tip for the barber. And then the same thing too. I thought I put an offer out for Qs, but we didn't. That completely flipped around as well. So nice trade on the Qs, nice trade on everything. It was a very, very big close, man. But we can sit here and watch AT&T and just see what this does. It's starting to now move back up. If this doesn't pair off, you could see a nice little downside move here for AT&T into the final 3 minutes here. Let's just see what happens. If AT&T pairs off, it'll shoot back up. If not, look for a downside move here in AT&T.
Yeah, somebody was asking, what are the imbalances on Netflix? All right, ignore the second line. That's from the ARCA source. The first line, Netflix, as of right now, 12,000 shares to the sell side, 300,000 paired. So not much on the imbalances coming into an earnings. Is it surprising? I mean, no. You're not going to see large imbalances the day before or right before these imbalances come out, or these earnings come out. So with earnings in mind, we'll go to Brendan and see what he's got.
Let's make it official. Here we go. Coming up tonight and tomorrow morning, guys, some old tech and some new tech.
Netflix, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like IBM. I think IBM works there, man. People joke about an international buyback machine. It's because they have buybacks, and they're always putting out more buybacks. So I'm expecting that to come through again today. IBM with a great dividend. The last time I checked, IBM, there we go, just got out of Facebook on a little bit of a bump back up there, so that was good. AT&T, we could still watch it now. Let's see what's going to happen to this one. But IBM, again, we can go back to international business machines. We'll go back to AT&T in a second. But they've been producing pretty well. You can see a nice little move to the upside here. They haven't been clocked as much as the market or some of the other tech names. Obviously, when you go to the high of 148 back in the summer, I mean, there's going to be a lot of names. Facebook was $350 or something, now down to 200. But this has held up quite well. It's bounced around a little bit. We'll see if it can hold this 120 area. I don't expect that kind of a drawdown. I feel like they're working. They've made some new partnerships. Data, Palantir. There's some nice, relationships that they've made and partnerships in the space. So let's see if IBM, again, a nice aggressive move. I think they beat. You see the last couple of days, a nice move over the 50 period. 200 period in jeopardy tomorrow, 133. I like that name. But let's look at AT&T again, because I want to see what this does. So here's AT&T. Ooh, U.S. Steel showing up here as well. But here we go. Oh, that's still the day chart. Let's see here on the 1 minute chart. Let's see what AT&T does. So still a big sell side here. We'll see. I feel like this is just going to motor to the downside now into this close. So there it is. You could have had 51 short, right? There's 49s. There's 48s. It got bigger. 47s. AT&T got bigger to the downside. Look at the volume starting to spin through. Look at the volume at the bottom here. Go full screen if you can. There it is. Yeah, look at that bottom right there. Look at the volume coming in. AT&T picking up sell side interest right now. It was, what was it, 1.8 or something like that? Now it went to 3. Now you're down to 1.9. Still, they have to sell this name, man. This level 2 cannot hold this kind of a size with only 15. Oh, I got to hit the countdown this time. Well, yeah, I got it now. With only 15 seconds left right there. We missed it off the open. I got it now. See how it's starting to pair off? AT&T making that move down. Let's see what happens. There it goes, almost gone. It's going to be a nothing burger. 3, 2, and 1. It's the pepperoni man there with Miss V getting the last ring there. I like that. But there we go. I hope you saw.
There goes Netflix, I think.
Netflix is out already?
There's a push all
the way.
No,
they could come out. Netflix comes out early, man.
They're all over the place.
They're all over the place right now. Netflix.
Down it goes. Down it goes.
Come to my screen. Bye-bye. Hasta la vista, Netflix, baby. Down to 308, 309, 305 now for Netflix. Netflix, big miss, I'm going to assume. Now, whoa, what the hell?
300.
Oh, God, I just got into Facebook there. I have to cancel some of these trades, so go over to your screen.
Yeah, we'll go over to my screen here. We'll just keep an eye on Netflix. Netflix now cracking 300. It just got underneath 300. And here is the level 2, the active level 2. And here's the chart. I'll put the chart out for you guys. I'll put a 10-second chart, because at this point, minute charts aren't going to matter. And once the 10-second chart loads up, we'll put it on the screen. But Netflix, there you go, 10-second chart. And that's how long it took for, that's not it, Netflix. Here we go.
Is it right
Netflix,
back up?
it's still going. Now it's at 290. There you go,
290.
guys. That's the 10-second chart. That's how long it took us for it to get from 350 down underneath 290? Yeah, we're underneath 290 now. So there goes Netflix. For everyone who called, someone called it. They were gonna not be good. It was an S show, but it was not gonna be a good look. There you go, Netflix. Exciting things coming tomorrow because that takes the NASDAQ with it to the downside. So here we are, setting up trades tomorrow. It's still going 285, 283, still going strong. And for anyone who wants the level 2, there you go, 281. On the bid, 282 on the bid now. And there goes Netflix, about to take 280 on the downside.
Yeah, maybe time to pick up some Netflix. And this is kind of what happens if you leave an order out there. We got short, but then we got out. So we made a nice little 40 cents there. We should have probably held it now as it's tanking even harder right now off that Netflix number. Wow, man, 285, 284, Brendo. I don't know if you have any news. Obviously, you have some kind of news on this. But let's go over how did the day wind up. What a great day.
Yeah, here's the note, guys, on Netflix. The subscribers declined for the first time in 10 years. So they also forecast more losses to come. So not a good sub number for Netflix. That's not good, as they were saying. Going into tomorrow, here's a quick look at how we finished the day. 2.25 there for the NASDAQ. Could be different story. Tomorrow, 1.5, 1.6 there. So a nice day overall to the upside. But yeah, subs declined for Netflix.
Disney too. Disney's taking a hit too. Disney's south of 130. Disney fell from 132 all the way down to 127. Sympathy moved to the downside as Netflix goes. So does Disney to the downside. So it's going to be a hot day tomorrow in terms of activity for the markets. Ton of
Wait a second. So what was that subs decline number again?
They lost 200,000 subscribers in the quarter. versus, so it's the first time in 10 years they've posted a number that was actually down over the prior quarter.
Wow. Yeah, that's why I had to get that clarification. Remember I was saying they're expecting like a 3% bump on their number, right?
Roku's gone too.
So they're all gone, man. I mean, I feel like crap right now.
Roku's
Why did I
falling
even get out of
apart.
this Facebook trade? But anyways, guys, okay, Roku to the downside, Disney to the downside, Netflix to the downside. This is chaos. But hey, we're going to be trading this for you tomorrow. So get ready to rock and roll, man. This is why it's very, very hard to take a position pre-earnings. Like, unless you're just, you know what, Netflix is going to miss again badly. There it is. It's only down 15%. Let's see what happens when the call happens. Reed Hastings obviously is going to have a lot to say on this one. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to Fahad. Thank you to Lucas. Thank you for all the guys behind us. Thank you to Ms. V, who will be in back trading tomorrow. That'll be good. And guess what? It's the Pradley show again tomorrow. Tomorrow, Trader Pratt will be back in the building, so that'll be really good. A big thank you, obviously, to Arun for stepping up one more time today. A big thank you to Brandon, Ian, and Luca today for the show and for everything that they've been doing. You want to say something else, Brandon, there?
I just, Miss V just vanished.
Miss
so
V's gone. Yeah, she's gone. She's going to go pay for her Netflix subscription, I guess.
Right.
As that's going to the downside. Still, Netflix still dropping. So, guys, we'll see everybody tomorrow. It should be an exciting one. Join us at 8:30. Ciao.